Going live. Who's manning this? Ed Jason Longshore, AJ with me from Atlanta United Fan TV, and then Jessica from Soccer in the Streets. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. A little tired. That was quite an intense game.
How'd the first game go?
I'd rather not talk about it.
AJ, do you want to talk about it?
I'm gonna throw down a whole bunch of excuses. I played 2 kickball games last night, I'm
there are no
knackered.
Excuses for that game.
And I suck at soccer anyway. So.
But you're good at talking about it. We'll give him that. He's okay at talking about it.
Yeah, I don't trust myself out there. I think I'm gonna get hurt. I'm perpetually. I don't know.
Do we have a trainer on site? That is a big question.
Ice? Anyone got
No,
ice?
I don't necessarily need the trainer as much as I need that ice spray. Do they have that? Does Continental at least have the ice spray down
We
there?
do have a CVS right next door.
Let's go for a run.
If
Is
we
that
have to run to
lidocaine?
CVS, then we're good.
Yeah. Anyway, this is awesome. Thank you guys for having us. Thank you guys, everybody, for showing up to play. Obviously, promoting Soccer in the Streets.
Yeah, thanks to Continental Tire for putting this together. Thanks to Andrew Wiebe, everybody at Extra Time Radio, Major League Soccer for making this happen. This all is a benefit for Soccer in the Streets. This is, if you don't know, Station Soccer is a Soccer in the Streets facility. There are more to come around the city in conjunction with MARTA. And Jessica is with Soccer in the Streets. How do you guys use this facility for the organization? I know adults play, but kids use it too, right?
Yeah, so basically the soccer pitches by the MARTA stations have multiple purposes. Firstly, obviously the adult pickup that works as a fundraiser so that we can put on our programs that are away from the station. But also we use the station fields for free pickup on Saturday mornings. We get kids from all our programs coming. And the fact that it's at MARTA takes out a huge inhibitor of youth sports, which is transport. If you don't have a parent with a car, you can still get to station soccer. And in the future plans, obviously, this is a unique station. It's kind of in the city. There aren't so much communities around it. But once we start building stations in communities, it'll be the hub and it'll be the neighborhood soccer pitch, which means that the kids can walk from their homes and come play. We'll be hosting practices as well as the adult fundraisers. So kids and adults alike get to benefit this.
Awesome. And one of the things that I always thought was cool about this project as it was coming together was the adult play and leagues. You can sign up, you can play in an organized league here. All that money goes back into the organization and it allows kids to play. So you're getting to play, you're paying for it, but that money is allowing another kid to play.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's just, it keeps going and going and going. Eventually, I always talk about whenever I first moved to Atlanta back in 2010, I found it really hard to find regular pickup games.
Yep.
Definitely.
And this is awesome. Not only are you providing regular pickup games, also leagues, but also giving, underprivileged kids a way to have an outlet from the things that, I don't know, that have them there, I guess. Yeah,
it's a real feel-good factor when you're playing because, you can play in any league, but in not many leagues can you play and know that you're actually allowing another child to love the game as much as you do. Like, we love the sport and we get to play, but it's so nice that through our love of the game, we can allow another kid to fall in love with the game.
Yeah, it's awesome. You guys have tentacles all throughout the city, and it's just growing
and we're
and growing
just growing.
and growing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We had an event on Friday night in the Buford Highway area. That's kind of our next lookout. We want to reach into the Latino community because those kids already love the game, but they're missing the facilities, and that's what we're going to offer them by reaching out in those areas too.
Yeah, that's awesome, because if we can use Clarkston as an example of what can happen in the rest of the city and all the other surrounding areas, I mean, it's the kids. I mean, you guys have a bright future in Atlanta, and the kids obviously have an even brighter future because of you guys. So,
well, we do our best, that's for sure.
Yeah.
What's been cool to see is that the organization has kind of different programs that suit different needs. So Clarkston, the Latino community, the kids want to play, they just need access to play. But then you go into communities like a lot of the Atlanta Public Schools
APS,
areas
exactly.
that you coached with Atlanta Public Schools,
yeah,
right?
I have a pretty good story from
Okay,
APS.
well, let's hear it.
When I first started coaching in APS, I didn't know what to expect. I turned up, I threw out the soccer balls and expected the kids to come in and just start playing pickup, start scrimmaging, shooting on the goals, that kind of thing before we started into the real session. Every single kid picked up those soccer balls, found the nearest hoop, and started throwing it in.
Yep.
And what you have to learn to realize is soccer might not be in their culture, but it's something we want to create. We want to give them options so that kids can fall in love with different sports and get to try different things, because it's so important you get to try, because you never know which sport you might enjoy. I was lucky as a kid, I got to try everything. Dance, definitely didn't like that, but then eventually I found soccer and that was the one for me. So we want to just give kids opportunities to play sports that they might not stumble across in their local park, or they might not get to play with their friends, but they might actually be really talented at. So it's really important that we don't miss potential stars or not even stars. It's not about creating stars. It's about just giving people a chance to love the game like we do.
Absolutely. We'll come back to soccer industries throughout the night and talk a lot about it with different folks who work with the organization. But we've got a wide variety of opinions here. Let's talk about Atlanta and Montreal a little bit from Saturday.
Definitely.
AJ, what stood out to you about the match on Saturday night?
Yeah, I think my biggest takeaway is we were clicking within our 4-2-3-1 system and really feeding Joseph Martinez. And I think Tito on the left is something of it's sort of a revelation, but it's been coming. I think he him on the left has been something I think fans have been clamoring for. Him being able to cut in, and he was creating a lot, and he was drifting in a lot of spaces. I think without Barco, it looked okay to go
just
forward
okay.
With them. It looked okay to go forward with that. I mean, I think I feel like with Barco back in, also, it brings a different dynamic. But I think it's very promising.
Not to go off on a tangent, but if and when Barco comes back, if let's say he's immediately reinserted. I mean, in terms of when he gets, is he going to be reinserted immediately into the lineup, starting lineup, as soon as he's reinstated into the team?
I don't think so, but because Tata has said that he's got to earn it, but I feel like he still is our with Nagby out, he's our guy who can possess the ball, as the strongest guy to possess the ball
in tight spaces and kind of work out of trouble. Yeah, he is that guy. I think Tito's really underrated at that, though.
Yeah,
especially here lately. Some of the
the dicks and the megs that he's been putting on these defenders are incredible.
I don't know who taught him the little slip move that we're seeing every game now.
Yeah,
it's either a nutmeg or he plays it to one side, runs around the other with his speed. It's a perfect fit.
He's unstoppable with his speed, and I think what's crazy is teams don't seem to be watching video because he uses that move continually, and he's still getting away with it. So we'll keep taking it for as long as it goes on, but we can't be too predictable. And I think that's one of our issues sometimes with our moves. Sometimes we're a little predictable, and that makes it easier to defend a predictable team.
I think since he came to Atlanta, I think one of the criticisms, and I think it's a little unjust, is he was kind of one tone, that he could fly up and down the railroad tracks. But you're seeing now that his agility, being able to stop on a dime, you saw it in I'm trying to remember what game that was, the beautiful goal against Philly. Yeah. You saw that whenever he was able, he overran that, he stopped and came back just enough to slide and put that ball in.
His body control.
His body control, his agility,
that explains
to get around people is pretty incredible. Yeah, it's something to behold. But to me, we can get back to Barco in a minute, I guess. I just don't know where he reinserts into the lineup because we looked we looked, aside from that late goal, we looked pretty dominant against one of the hotter teams in the East.
I think we're fine without him.
At home, away. Yeah, at Montreal's home is what I mean. At the Stats.
Both games without Barco. Andrew played very well here at home against DC. I thought Atlanta United looked good that one, even giving up the first goal that was sloppy, bad turnover. Yeah. But then you controlled the match after that. You controlled the match in Montreal. They had 7 shots on goal, but 4 of them, you're going to trust Brad Kazan to make those saves all day long.
For me, I think Remedi might have been the thing that stood out from the Montreal
game.
He
was our man of the match on radio. I saw Kevin Egan as we were heading out of Montreal yesterday, and he said the same. Remedi is just a pit bull in the middle of the field. I love what he brings to this team.
I think it's his work ethic. He's like a cart horse out there, and he's willing to track back, but he also has good discipline. Yeah. And I think that's what's so important is about being disciplined in that sort of position,
I think he kind of has the magnet feet that Nagby has.
A little bit.
He has really good tight control and kind of just sucking the midfield into him too. I thought that he did a great job. To me, he's kind of an upgrade from Carmona. I know this is really early to say this, but if this is no, and Carmona to me was probably one of my 2-3 favorite players from last year, and I was really sad to see him go. But if we see the same average performance from Remedi that we saw in Montreal, I think that is the guy that we've been missing, especially with Nagby out. It's because Nagby's great in possession and control, and he can spray the ball around a little bit better than Remedi can. But Remedi playing alongside Lorenowitz, it just gives leeway and access to the forwards and even Miguel to stay forward a little more.
You have options with Remedi. I think that's the thing is when you didn't have Carmona, you had to be a little more open than I think Tata really liked to be, because with Carmona, you could be defensive, you could control it, let your front four go and have at it, and you're fine. But when you didn't have Carmona in there, you didn't have a defensively minded player, it just didn't quite flow the same. It was on and off.
Like
And-
whenever you saw Kratz, I think Lorenowitz play up in DC together last year. Whenever Carmona was out,
It wasn't the same.
That
You
was-
just didn't have it.
Right.
Yeah.
Nagbe. Now I'll give Darlington Nagbe a ton of credit because defensively he's been far better than I thought he would be.
Absolutely.
But
Agree.
now when you get Nagbe back, you have that side. You have Remedi. Long term, I think Remedi is going to be your 6. I think over
think so too,
time he's
Yeah.
going to be your 6 in the next couple of years.
Mhm.
And now you get to ease him in, and he can play the 8 some now as well.
And squad depth, I think, is vital too. You're
The
talking
depth
about
is
all
amazing.
these players and having that depth and competition. I think that's what's so important. And that's why I think when we talk about Barco earning his place back, that squad depth is what keeps you on your toes. If you get too set in your position, you become complacent.
Yep.
It doesn't matter if you have a 7 game every week because you're not feeling threatened. I think we need to have that squad depth so players feel they need to get a 9 to stay on the field next game.
Yeah,
Right.
no, that's a great point.
Yeah, Gressel and Tito are going to make it really hard for Barco to get back into that starting lineup.
Yeah, and Andrew, and I mean just this whole group. It's a really deep squad. But one place that I've got a question I want all of you to take a crack at. Franco Escobar is suspended on
Indeed.
Saturday. Sal Zizzo's injured, probably not going to be available Saturday. Who starts at right back, or do you play a 3-5-2? AJ?
Yeah, I think it's a 4 at the back still. I think maybe we can
Ah.
bring in Andrew Wheeler-Aminu. He's played there in preseason and U.S. Open Cup a little bit. I think he's more of the natural fit in the system that Tata wants to play. I mean, he's been very vocal about 3-5-2. Just he wants to get away from it. So I think it's either him or Miles Robinson maybe. But I mean, I think it's staying 4 at the back.
Okay. Jess?
If I was to pick with 4 in the back, I think I'd pick Robinson because I like his speed. But for me, I think I would slide to 3 just because I feel like it's important to play players that are game fit
Sure.
and have those minutes in their legs. And I think slotting into 3 at the back would
So you
work.
go to 3, Robinson coming in the middle,
Mhm.
and then Gressel at right back, and McCann at left? Because Ambrose also has a knee injury, and he's
Parkhurst out?
questionable.
Is Parker?
No, Parkhurst is good. So if you go
Yeah.
3, it'd be Parkhurst,
Okay, I got
LTP,
you, I got
and
you.
Robinson.
Yeah.
Because Robinson's a more natural center back. You go Gressel at right wing back, but then left wing back.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, because Ambrose.
I think it's
is
a
iffy.
really rough, complicated
It is.
one because you're going to play someone that hasn't had game time
Mhm.
under them, and I think that's a risk to take if you're not quite up to match speed.
And I think even riskier though is so Parker's rolled his right ankle, and he's gonna maybe play the All-Star game as well. And then if he plays on, over the weekend, does he actually start the All-Star game? That's probably another question.
Yeah, and that's iffy. I think he's okay. I didn't
Yeah.
hear any worry about him coming out of Montreal, so he
Yeah.
should be all right. There shouldn't be an issue
He's
there.
got some real flexible ankles.
Yeah, it did. I don't
It
think it
looked
went completely
disgusting.
over. It wasn't as bad as I thought because
It
ankle
looked bad,
injuries
but yeah.
usually make me sick to my stomach because I've had my left ankle is silly buddy at this point.
Yeah.
But okay, so 3-5-2. We've got a few shouts for that. Going for Andrew Wheeler-Aminu or Miles Robinson at right back. Where would you go?
I think we still stick with a 4-2-3-1. And I think the way that we get away with that is it's been kind of unpopular. At least Kevin gives me crap for it all the time. But I think
Uh-oh.
Because
now he's getting upset.
no, because I think Gressel can slot in at that right back, and we could push Villalba, put him back over on the right side, either put Carlton or Barco over on the left for the game against Toronto. I think we stay with the same shape. I mean, it's working for us right now. It seems like like we're getting more comfortable playing in it. And I don't know that you do go away from it. And I think Gressel plays good enough defense. He tracks back well enough, and he can get forward too. I mean, if you need to, at that point, if Gressel's position going far forward, you can kind of make a makeshift back 3 kind of throughout the game too.
With Jeff dropping back and Remedi.
Either that or McCann staying back,
Or that,
instead of going up with him, you kind of have them sliding in and out on attack. I think we have enough options there. I still think we stick with a 4-2-3-1. What do you think?
It's tricky. I think if you go with 4 in the back, the safest choice is Wheeler-Aminu.
Mhm.
I like him at right back. He's a hard worker. I actually think he's a little bit better in midfield, but he's that utility guy that can do a lot of things. Robinson, I just have a gut feeling it wouldn't surprise me because it'd be very Anton Walks to move a guy who's played
Yeah.
center back primarily, but is athletic and can get up and down the line,
Right.
to move him over to right back and see what you get. He definitely has the athleticism to do it, but it hasn't been a position he's really played. He's always played as a center back or a right center back
It's a
in a
pretty
3-man.
common switch, though. That
It
happens
is.
very often,
Yeah,
like you say.
it's not a crazy one. We just haven't seen it yet. Wheeler
Yeah.
Amanu's the safe choice. He's played right back with ATL UTD too.
Just bring in George Bello.
Well, that'd be on the
He's
left
also-
side, and he's been injured too.
Yeah,
so.
I know.
Yeah, I know. Bello is the absolute truth, though, and that's why
He's going to be
It's-
our left back next year.
it's very possible.
Yeah, at
It-
17 years
it
old, he will be
would
starting
not-
in MLS.
It would not shock me a bit. That kid is that
He-
good.
He's 16 and bosses grown men in the USL.
True.
It's amazing to
He's
watch.
taking the free kicks in the corners. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's pretty amazing. What do you want to do in terms of swapping out and in terms of tagging people in and out?
Yeah.
I don't want to hog the mic too much.
Sure.
I feel like I already
Alright,
talked
Let's see, a
too
bunch
much.
of people are trying to jump in and play.
You
I
wanna
think
get Kevin in
Kevin
here?
wants to get in on the
All right, I'm gonna
lineup
let-
decision.
I'm going to let the peacock spread his feathers, spread his
Hang
wings.
for a little bit.
We'll
'cause I
let
know you got to
Jessica stay
go
as
in
much as
20 minutes,
possible.
right?
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
sounds good.
Let's just root Tim.
Let's see.
Am I going to go ahead and get into the queue?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, go, you got to jump in the, on the field now because we have to mock you
No,
now.
Josh
Now that we
is
have the
already out
mics
there.
going, we have to talk
Oh, we
about
have
you.
the Mouths of the South crew on the
All right.
pitch.
There we go. How about
Okay, good.
second?
I won't touch that. That looks bad. I won't touch that.
Yeah, so we have to talk trash if Sam Franco or Josh Bagriansky does anything. I trust Sam Jones to have a good game here.
Josh is great, man. You know he's a coach. Look, you got Sam. You got both Sams down there. You got Sam squared.
You better not screw up, guys.
That's our lineup change for the podcast next. They're going to come up, talk about how great they did. It's going to be excellent.
Okay, so now we have two new faces.
So, do they go with the three back here, or
If they go three back-
formation,
if
that's
they
a
go
very
three
good
back-
would
message.
you go three back or four back in this
Park
situation?
the bus?
Yeah,
Like,
that would be
the
very
biggest bus
Colorado
in the world.
Rapids of them.
All I'm saying is they're getting warm-up touches that we did not get, and I'm pretty jealous of that because, as you can see, I have the first touch of a cement mixer, which is, not great.
So let's hear from you guys. Saturday, no Franco Escobar. You have a dilemma at right back because you're probably not going to have Sal Zizzo either. What is the back line? Is it 4? Is it 3? And who is it?
So I tend to lean three back just because of where Toronto is and what their
Uh-huh.
season's been.
That was a
I don't
point that
think-
hadn't been brought up yet. Yep.
I don't know. I mean, they've got Josie back. They're obviously going to be an attacking threat. However, I don't know that they are consistently enough to warrant stacking the back line 4 deep. As far as who plays that role, I think Robinson's a worthy candidate for that. You were saying Ambrose, just you've written him off entirely?
No,
Is he
no,
injured, or-
we don't know. He hurt his knee with ATL UTD2 in Nashville last Wednesday. He did not play this weekend with either squad.
In that case, just play the safe bet. Put in Robinson. He's obviously game ready. Put him in the three back and let it
McCann on
run.
the left.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Gressel on the right.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. That's the way to go.
What do you think, Tanner?
I'm curious with the idea of trying to play Gressel as a right back. He's shown the ability to be really flexible with pretty much every position he stepped in at so far this season. With the way Atlanta had to play at home, the fullbacks are pretty much at the halfway line to begin with.
Yeah.
And I think that he's shown that he has the work rate to track back. I think Toronto, I think they'll be aggressive enough to try to attack United, mostly because they are getting guys back. They are getting into some good form. But I think having that overlapping threat of Gressel on the right, especially to a team that concedes over 2 goals a game on the road, I think you can afford to be a bit more aggressive in that sense because Toronto, they aren't the greatest defensively. Yeah, they're dangerous going forward, but Gressel has shown that he has the ability to adapt and that positional and tactical discipline to stay and go, which Escobar sometimes lacks anyway. So with, again, his flexibility that he's shown this year, I think is a reach you could, afford to take.
I always come back when it's the discussion about Gressel, it's can versus should. And I'm always, can you? Maybe. Should you? I don't know. I can't confidently say that you should make that substitution. And whenever you have players in the lineup that can fill in,
It's a risk, isn't it?
that's the way to go, in my opinion.
And this one, you don't really have an obvious one
Exactly.
because Zizzo would be the obvious solution here. You keep 4 in the
Absolutely.
back, you play Sal, and he's probably not going to be available.
Right.
So
I mean, honestly, thankfully United have a manager that knows pretty much everything with what he wants to do. He's a guy that he can make those puzzle pieces fit. I mean, how many of us thought they were going to line up with 3 at the back that first home game of the season? I don't
Absolutely.
think any of us really expected
nobody
that.
expected Anton
So-
Walks last year at right back.
Exactly.
I mean,
And he
I
filled it in
remember that one.
fantastic. So, I mean,
Yeah, he was good.
Tata, I trust in him to figure out whatever he wants to do. I think it'll work. Again, I'm so worried when I watch this team at home, regardless of what lineup they put out, just because they've been so inconsistent with the way that teams have, packed the box and then countered so quickly. And honestly, I think it's more of a case of I want Atlanta to be aggressive at home. Might we concede some more goals? Yes. But I think too often they've been too lax at the beginning of matches. They haven't put the opposing teams under enough pressure. They haven't moved the ball quick enough. They haven't tried to get that decisive goal. Because if Atlanta United can go 1-0 up at home, I favor them to win almost every single time.
And Toronto's a team that you need to do that early on. And to your point about Tata, I think that we've seen him do it unsuccessfully, I'll mind you, against Dallas to switch the backline formation. But I could quite easily see us go into this game with a 3-back. And then if Toronto is pressing and finding some success up top, that we do shift to the 4-back. And I think that we have a lineup that lends itself to doing so in the middle of a game.
Well, here's your monkey wrench that comes into it. Toronto, in their last match, they're getting everybody healthy. They started in a 3-5-2, which has been their shape generally over these last few years. It didn't work. They went to a 4-4-2, and it was much better against Chicago. I don't know how they're going to start.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of mystery here. Do you want to match them? Do you want to go 3-5-2 because they could come in 3-5-2? That's what they've played for the last few years. Or thinking they look better in a 4-4-2, do you want to try to match that in some way, or 4-2-3-1?
So I tend to think the opposite, because with the 5-player midfield, it gets so congested. I think Mercedes-Benz is one of the best fields to play it, and that's why Atlanta's found success in playing it. Where they really struggled was on the road in Yankee Stadium, where the field was so
absolutely
compressed.
tiny.
Yeah, there's
Basically
that.
the size. It was basically
Exactly.
It's smaller than this, actually.
Live model of the field
Yes.
over there.
So to that point, if they start a 3-5 scenario, I almost lean to going to 4-4. But that way you have the midfield to breathe a little bit more versus having 10 players in the center of the field. And it just gets so congested and hard to move the ball. And Atlanta really wants to move with pace and create space. And you can take advantage of that sort of counterintuitively the opposite direction, I think.
Okay, let me throw another question at you guys. This has been an ongoing question among the broadcast teams, among our show soccer down here. If Joseph Martinez continues to score at this rate, is he...
What do you mean if?
When?
Well, okay, when? Is he the default MVP of MLS?
Yes.
If he scores over 30, even with Miguel Almiron and what he does for this team, is it Joseph? No questions asked.
Yes.
Well, it depends on if Tim's prediction comes true and somehow DC United becomes a playoff team. And
I said that at the
huge
beginning of
surge.
June. I said DC United is going to make the playoffs at the beginning of June, and I still think they can make the playoffs.
Rooney.
Again,
I do.
can or would.
Well, okay, who do you think will in the East? Let's
Statistically,
go
they
this way. Who makes it in the East? We know the top 3. I think Columbus is pretty well settled.
Top 3, I'll put it out there. I think Red Bulls are going to end up jumping Atlanta once it's all said and done.
You think Red Bulls beats Atlanta United?
I think Red Bulls will end up surging late.
Even with Chris Armas as the manager now?
Where have you seen them fall off, really?
This past weekend.
Yeah.
Well, this past weekend. Okay.
With Greg Berhalter catching him.
I'll concede that. However, you did see that team go down 3-0 and then make
That's
it
true.
competitive and come back, and one of those goals on an own goal,
That's
and they
true.
come back and bring it back 3-2 to make it at least interesting.
Yep.
So that team's not out of the running.
Oh,
They're
no,
not a
not
team
at
that's
all.
going to lay down, and if they're in the hunt with a game in hand right now, they're the only team that can catch Atlanta in the East. So I think of the ones that could potentially jump Atlanta, Red Bulls would be the team to do so. But back to your question.
I think if Joseph Martinez breaks the MLS goal scoring record and hits 30, 32 goals, which I think he will do, I don't see how you can give it to anyone else. I mean, if you break records and you are having the greatest season of a striker in league history, you can't have anyone else be MVP unless Miguel Almiron suddenly starts scoring goals at a incredible clip as well and is picking up the assist every time. Then maybe you can make that argument. But right now, Joseph Martinez is playing on a level that MLS hasn't really seen in a while because he's scoring so consistently against everyone in every way possible. Right foot, left foot, headers. I mean,
Just
for a
hasn't
guy
got
of
that
his
bike,
stature-
though. That's the most.
We're waiting
Is
on
it
it.
bad
We're
whenever-
waiting on it.
Yeah.
That's
He hasn't scored that goal
that's
where
the
you're just
negative
like, oh my
comment
days.
on his
Yeah.
season is that he hasn't got that
He
bike
hasn't
yet.
scored on a bicycle kick yet. Joseph Martinez, come on, what are you doing? Jess, what do you think? Is it Martinez for sure MVP?
Well, it's funny because usually I'm quite salty about forwards. I was a goalkeeper in college, and I would hate the fact that they could score tap-ins and everyone would be praising them. And, I'd be like, look, there's other important people on the field too, unsung heroes, goalkeepers, defensive line. But in the case of Martinez, it's just unbelievable consistency. And even as a goalkeeper, he's the player that no one wants to play against. Every goalkeeper is probably dreading playing against Martinez. They're begging their defense to, man mark, but he's unmarkable.
Well, the other thing is, it's because of that forward line that Atlanta has. It's not just Martinez. With the ability of
Who do you
Martinez,
mark?
the
Exactly.
ability of Martinez to create rests entirely on the team
Distracting
to
everyone
be
else.
the engine to generate it. And you saw that really exemplified this past week. I thought both of his goals were scored off of efforts around him
Exactly.
and him just being able
But
to
he's
pick
in the
up
right
that open
place
space.
at the
Absolutely.
right time,
Absolutely.
and
That's what
it's
every best
movement
striker
off the
has.
ball, and he's got that finishing instinct. And there is no one I would like to see less in front of me if I was a goalkeeper than Martinez. And for that reason, even as a goalkeeper who would like defensive players to get praised, because you can't have a great team without a great defensive line, he's just incredible. And honestly, I think I would fear him being sold more than Almiron.
I mean,
Which I think that's a big, but that's just for me. And I think Martinez would be more successful in English leagues than Almiron.
Actually, let's go back to that because this is something. Let's go back to your point as well about
Controversial?
Martinez, that he is so successful because of who's around him, because of the system here. Does that necessarily translate in another team?
Well, I mean, you have to look at the fact that he was never really played as an out-and-out striker
That's
before.
true.
I mean, Torino played him on the left wing. I don't know clearly what they were thinking about now seeing his finishing quality, but I mean, he has the one thing that you can't take away from him is the fact that he innately knows when to make the runs. His movement is incredible, and that translates to whatever team you go to because you don't lose that knowledge and that wherewithal within the game. So I think very much I agree with Jess. He could play in England because a lot of those teams can play in that fast attacking style. That's the way that football is played these days. And he has that ruthless edge that
And
you
the
need to
physical
have.
presence. And I think that's the thing. He
Especially
has
for
the
his
strength
size. I mean,
for the
number of
size.
Yeah, he
goals
does.
He scores at 5'7" is absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think absolutely he's a guy that could go, but at the same time, he's already been to Europe before. He loves it here in Atlanta. Atlanta can afford to pay him because he's a designated player. So I don't see, unless he wants to challenge himself again, if he's comfortable in this setting, then maybe he's not worried about going anywhere else. I mean, I guess that comes down to him personally, but from everything we've seen, he absolutely loves it here. Almiron has definitely made it clear he wants to go. But
Yeah, that was the plan the whole way. Right.
So Martinez,
Josh with the banger.
I think Martinez, I think he does have a future here. I think that if he wants to stay here, a lot more records are in sight for him. I think 100 goals is there. I think the MLS goal scoring record could be there if he stays in the league long enough. I mean, he's a player that Atlanta United were incredibly lucky to unearth and then figure out this is the guy we should play in this position. And you have to give so much credit to the front office, to Tata Martino, to figuring out a guy who's never played this position professionally before to move him there. And this is the results you're getting. I mean, it's absolutely incredible. And I absolutely love the guy.
So MVP, yeah?
Oh, yeah. MVP.
Yeah.
100%.
Even if Miguel ends up, so Miguel's on what, 9 goals, 10 assists right now. If he ends up
4 on PKs.
well, yeah, that's true. If he ends up 15 goals and 15 assists.
If Joseph Martinez ends up with 30 plus goals, I don't see how you can't give it to him. The other thing that is crazy about Joseph that he's shown this season is his ability to drop deep and get involved a lot more at the link-up play.
Yes.
His passing ability, his one-touch ability to connect with Almiron has been incredible. That's not something he showed a lot of last season, and that adds just another dimension into this team. And honestly, it's something that with Tito starting on the left last game is something I'd like to see a lot more of because with Tito on the left, it enables him to shoot from the right, onto his right foot, which he scores absolute bangers from. With Joseph and his movement pulling central defenders out of position, it opens that up for Tito to make those diagonal runs onto his strong foot and finish a lot more. And I think that if he can find some form on that left-hand side with Joseph and his movement, that's just another option for Atlanta United. And to go back to who makes the playoffs and who finishes in first place, if Atlanta United can figure out how to attack teams at home and how to break teams down, they are by far the best team. Their biggest issue right now is that they've struggled at home, which is really hard to believe. But the way that they're playing on the road, the way the teams enable them to play on the road by coming out and attacking them, if they can sort out their home form and figure out how to pick up 3 points consistently at home, they're going to hit 70 points. And I don't think, even with Red Bull playing well, I don't think Red Bull, with the new coaching staff coming in halfway through the season, will be able to catch up. But the big game on that will be when they play in New Jersey, towards the end of the season.
So I want to hear from you guys. I think we know Atlanta, the 2 New York teams. That's your top 3 in some configuration. Columbus is pretty good as the 4. I think they'll be in there.
Yeah.
Who are the other 2 in the East that make it?
Hold on, I can pull up the actual.
Honestly,
Right now, it's Montreal and New England who are in. Philadelphia is just out. Then you're getting into Chicago and Toronto and DC.
I don't think Philadelphia make it. I'm just not very confident in seeing them play in really anything that they're doing. I think that Toronto, if they're a team that can get healthy and find form, they're only 6 points out of that last playoff spot. So Toronto is a team that, they're the current holders.
Yeah.
I mean, they absolutely, if they can catch some fire, can get that 6th spot. And they're a team that, if they make it into the playoffs, will be a dangerous team. I don't agree with you at DC. I like the optimism, but I just
think
don't
they can
there's
do
enough
it.
there.
I think they'll get close.
Have
I
you
think they'll
seen-
They'll
make a
definitely get
push.
close.
Have you
Watching them
seen
play,
their
they have
slate of games
changed.
on the back end of
Yeah,
their
they do
schedule.
have-
Yeah, but they got so many at
I
home.
get that they're
They
at
have,
home,
like,
but
14 at
look
home.
but again, it's the compounding factor in that they have 5 games in hand on everybody else, which compresses their weeks
Mhm.
substantially
It's
more
true.
than
That's a
everybody
good point.
else.
They're going to be exhausted.
Against an exponentially higher caliber team
Yep.
that they're having to play, because I think it's 9 or 10 out of their remaining 15 or 16 games are the top.
Yeah, they got
3
everybody
or
coming into
4
Audi Field.
teams out of both conferences. I just don't see it. I think that they're on the right path and trajectory going into next season, but it's a long uphill battle to climb. I don't think Orlando's going.
Yeah,
anywhere.
No, I think Orlando's-
guarantee they're not going to make out. Of
I think
that one.
Orlando's
Orlando.
dead. I think Chicago's dead.
Yeah,
I think
Yes.
those two are done. Toronto can make a run. DC can make a run. Montreal, I feel like, is a playoff team.
I think so too.
I think they're in. And if Philadelphia gets a forward, I think they're in.
Yeah.
I think they need somebody to score some goals. Otherwise, that team with Medunian and Bedoya, Dochkow is really starting to come good. Fafa Pico out wide. They just have to have somebody who can score goals.
Right.
I think with, as long as Montreal continues to control opposition forwards, I think, they're not going to make it, because by their definition of controlling, if that means Joseph Martinez scoring 2 goals and reference
Right.
to Tidier's comments this past weekend, I don't know. I mean, they're a good team. They show, that they can play well, especially at home.
They need a forward
They had
too.
1-5 on the bounce, but right now they're a team that very much relies on one player. And Piazzi is that player. And if he doesn't do something for them and they concede more goals than he can score, then they're not in a great place. Not to mention, they have a very, very unreliable keeper.
If you take the report from MLSsoccer.com today with Fernando Adi, who is now with FC Cincinnati, if you take that report and you put Fernando Adi in Montreal's team with what they have, then what?
That's an incredible line.
That's a really dangerous team.
It really, really is. So we talked a lot about individual player performances, about the MVP. Maybe another way to phrase this, if not Joseph, who?
Around the league?
Right.
Who stands out to you?
Maybe. I mean, Zlatan, he's
Ugh,
scoring
I
goals at
hate
an
the
incredible
guy.
rate.
Oh my God, please don't talk about
Okay,
him.
now tell us what you think
Ugh.
about Zlatan.
Can I say a rude word in English?
You can say
I think he's
whatever
a
you
massive
want.
twat. Like, I can't stand the guy, and
He's not here, so it's okay.
exactly. But I think that kind of shows his character too, because he's he's omnipresent, right? He's gonna be here listening to me. I'm
Is
probably
Zlatan
gonna get an
playing
aggressive
tonight?
tweet now.
Is that what we're about to learn?
Well, he wasn't at practice, so who knows where he is.
Okay,
I mean,
fair enough.
But the fact
could
that
be
he's
anywhere.
willing to miss, he talks about making the sacrifice because he doesn't want to travel, because he wants to focus on his club.
Mhm.
Well, he has to miss a game now for missing
Right.
the MLS.
It is
as part of that
Colorado,
role.
so is that really a
I-
game?
But still, I think it's principle, and I just
I
think
agree.
that it's an honor, so to
Yeah.
say, to be voted in this, and it kind of stays in my mind. If I'm a fan that voted for him, I'm kind of thinking he doesn't give a crap what we
That's a good
think, and I
point.
think it just goes along with his attitude a little bit. I just think the guy is an ego, and yeah, he's a great player, but I think
Wait, I didn't see Tim got on the field. I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but look at this guy. Look at this guy. No keeper gloves.
Oh no, this is going to end badly.
he's gonna break a wrist.
To cut Zlatan a bit of slack, though, I mean, you do have to think that he did, he's coming off of a massive knee injury. He is 36 years old. He'd be playing.
Oh,
in
what a
game-
boot by Tim.
He'd be playing in a game that to him, I mean, it doesn't mean anything. It's an exhibition. I get it's the honor. I get that the
Yeah.
fans want to see him, but for him, it's like, he has, been a catalyst for LA Galaxy turning around their season completely. They were not a very good team before he joined, and right now they are climbing up the rankings in the West. And I think that, especially them adopting the formation they are, him and Ole Kamara finding a partnership up top, they're a team that, could actually make some noise out of the West. And I think they're a better team now than when Atlanta faced them a while back. And he has been a catalyst for that team. He has done a lot for the league and bringing some more fans to it to watch him. And he's been scoring the goals to justify him being Zlatan. I mean, he didn't just score a hat trick.
A good soccer player is humble too, in my opinion. I think that, okay, practice what you preach, live up to how good you speak, but I still think that it's about the character. Like, I don't know, growing
Zlatan's
up,
been Zlatan
he
for
wouldn't
20
be
years.
he wouldn't
He
he
has.
wouldn't be someone I would want. Let's say I have kids one day, I wouldn't
Right.
want my kids looking up and playing like him on a field.
I would agree with that.
Like,
Yeah.
I think that if we're talking role models here without getting like cheesy or cliche,
No.
he's not someone I would aspire to play like.
Yeah, that's completely understandable. I mean, but the cult of personality around Zlatan is just one of those things. And for me, as just a soccer fan, I like watching the guy play. I mean, the way that he announced himself for the league, scoring those goals against LAFC, and then he's scoring a hat trick this past weekend. I mean, he's a guy that when he does score, it usually is the spectacular.
Right.
He has all the skills. Just to watch him, personality aside, he's an absolute joy to watch. And I mean, if you're talking about MVP, maybe he could, but again, it's like Joseph Martinez again. I just can't get away from him. I mean, he's just such a great player, and I can't think of anyone other than that guy that would be in the MVP race right now, just because of what he's doing. Hasn't been seen in the league before. I mean, Stern John's the only player to score this many goals in the beginning, and that was MLS 1.0.
So we're about to rotate the pod squad
shift.
here.
We've got hold on one second. Josh and Sam from Mouths of the South. One of you guys want to come up and record a little bit, and then we got the other Sam from Five Stripe Final.
One of these guys back here. We got like 5 guys back here too, so we'll rotate.
We're gonna have a big rotation.
Yeah, I wish we had some five guys. Fries. Before we switch, Jess, let everybody know who's watching at home or here if people want to volunteer, learn more about soccer in the streets, let them know how they can do that.
So you can get involved with Soccer in the Streets by visiting our website, which is soccerstreets.org, or I'm the volunteer coordinator, so contact me directly at jessica@soccerstreets.org. We'd love to have you, get you on our mailing list, have you out to an event, play in a fundraiser, any way possible, because everything is for the kids.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Let's switch.
Thank you.
Big tag out. Let's go.
Tag team.
Okay.
Anyone switching? Switch.
Sam and Sam, you guys want to tag in here?
I don't know.
And then we got one more down at the end there.
One more in the end.
Oh!
Yeah.
Just
Swing hot.
the mic's got to be kind of back here if it gets too far forward.
Yeah, because you have the whole feedbacky thing.
This is.
Oh, look out,
Hello.
people.
Hello.
All right. So now
Hello.
we've swapped out.
Okay.
And let's see. So, Sam, do you just don't want to like congregate or something? Or are you just kind of hanging out of the frame?
As a yard kind of out of the frame.
Do I need to get in?
You need to
Is
be
there a frame?
low
Oh,
right.
I see the
picture
lower
in picture.
Okay, I got you.
Great. We're
I think I'm in now.
See, now we're pointing at ourselves just so we can line each other up here in the picture in picture for those of you watching.
All right. All right.
So
Introduce everybody from over here who just shot me a pistol. That's right. San Franco Mouths of the South podcast, and also now the Mouths of the South radio show.
Mazel tov.
Yes, so we are very excited about it.
Congratulations.
Mostly it'll be Wednesdays at 7 o'clock, but we have a pretty big game on Wednesday this week.
Heard about that.
So we're going to go Thursday, and it's 106.3 FM, the Sports X, also 12:30 a.m. on your radio dial.
Roger that. And you are, sir, Mr. Sweaty?
J. Sam Jones from Dirty South Soccer and the H-Dad 5-stripe final, also 2-time goal scorer, Soccer in the Streets right
Not
now.
a podcast.
And
Not a podcast.
we saw the golazos, sir, that you pieced out there.
So good.
We also saw the shot from close range. It looked like it gave a nice little Voigt burger to you, little Voigt tattoo,
Yes.
little Adidas that you're going to be carrying home with you tonight.
Yeah.
Driving home to Milledgeville with an Adidas tattoo.
I'm just relocated.
Okay.
But it's going to hurt just as much wherever I am.
There you go.
It stung a little bit. for sure.
I am John Nelson with Soccer Down Here, and we are 9 a.m. to 11 Eastern Time on Blog Talk Radio, also available on ESPN Coastal on your overnights, XL Sports Network, Central Georgia, barnburner.ca north of the border, and I think that's it for now. And Q.
Yep, I am Chris Hill, and I'm with Atlanta United Fan TV.
So you're hosting this bad boy.
Yes.
Do we want to break the fourth wall and explain what it took to get this thing on the air?
It
was an adventure.
The wrong person for that one.
It was
AJ
an adventure, but AJ had to use his password, I think, about 9 different times to make sure that everything happened.
Yes.
And we have to thank you guys for hosting us and making sure that we all look amazing when it comes to the video portion of the program.
Anytime.
Let's see. I'm looking on the comments here. Let's see. Del Schaefer, this is awesome. We need more fields like this all over the country for grassroots soccer. Guda Clark asking how long we're staying here tonight. Do we know how long we're staying here?
I think we wrap up shop about 11.
Okay.
About 11. We're recording till 11.
10 o'clock.
We're recording until 10.
We may go to
o'clock.
12.
No, Sam is the one who's going until 10 or 11 or 12.
I'll solo this. I'll carry this thing.
I bet you will.
Bonus 2 hours.
Poorly, but I will carry it somewhere.
All right, now let me come down here to the end. You, sir, with the tremendous golazo early in your appearance.
Well, there's the perceived goals, and then there's the ones that actually happen. You may have perceived one.
Oh, no. I saw you put the ball in the back of the net, sir. I heard the clanking of the chains.
Well, you know, I don't want to toot my own horn.
But toot toot, Arn Anderson. Okay, I get it. 4? Yeah, of course. 4 horsemen, baby.
If we're doing the 4 horsemen, I either want to be Steve Mongo McMichael or Dean Malenko.
Uh-oh.
How are we doing, man?
All right. Good shit out there.
Thank you.
I think we're good to go.
I think we're good to go back. Our friends from Extra Time Radio down there.
Yeah, I think
all
thing on.
in their matching shirts.
Suspense is killing me.
I know it is. I'm looking forward to seeing them as a group out there. But wait a second, isn't it supposed to be 5-on-5? And they've got 5, 6, 7.
Well, when you organize a competition,
32.
you can basically do whatever you want.
I don't believe you.
It's a man advantage.
Looks like it's 6-on-5 for Extra Time. Looks like Extra Time is going to play with an extra man. And this is going to be one of the true matches that we're going to see here. This is going to be tremendous soccer.
Oh, no. Oh, that's right. They're still going.
They're taping TV stuff. There we go.
If we are going 4 horsemen, I can be Arn Anderson. Nobody objects.
Oh, no objections at all.
I'll be Kelly Blanchard.
The slingshot suplex?
Or J.J. Dillon. I think he had an underrated role.
Oh, he drove the bus completely. But then JJ went face when the 4 horsemen broke up, and he came back for that second tour.
He became the president of WC.
Yeah, that was such a bad idea.
The arsonist has oddly shady meat.
And hey, wait a minute there, cowboy. Running their Degeneration X.
Imitation is the highest form of flattery.
But the thing is, for me, that's Degeneration X. That's not what's this Dragon Ball Z? Is that what that was?
No, that was in WO, not Degeneration X. Because Scott Hall would come out.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Scott Hall and Hall and Nash would do the look at each other. I believe.
I just turn the PA back on now?
I believe so.
I think so. I think the
believe
cameras
so,
are
yes.
gone.
Cameras are gone. And now we're back.
Hey!
Yay!
Very much
Looking forward to seeing all of our friends in the matching gray T-shirts going at it tonight. We're anticipating big results from them. Their first action here on this pitch, just over the bar.
Apologies for the feedback there, man. So much for Southern hospitality.
LA Saron on the chat is asking us for predictions in the MLS All-Star match. Mr. Franco, sir.
Prediction?
Pain.
Why you got to steal my thunder, John? Come on, man.
Knew where you were going.
Yeah, simpatico. There,
Yes.
You know?
Yes, Tully.
I'll say this: with the news that Zlatan isn't going to be involved, that was sort of a heartbreaker there. But I'll still say that. Look, most of the time the MLS All Stars do pretty well in these games because no Ronaldo, none of the top flight Juve players probably going to be featuring a whole lot. So I'll say MLS All Stars by 99.
There you go. 99 goals and the pitch day and got one?
Yes,
Thank
exactly.
you.
Yeah.
J. Sam Jones, who's going to win all the soccering?
All the soccering will be won by Atlanta United and friends. I'm
Yes.
gonna say 3 goals. 3 goals there for
Atlanta United and friends.
That's what this is, isn't it? I think that's the only way we
that
can.
is
That's
accurate,
the
sir,
only
yes.
reason we can.
I say 5 out of 11. Yeah.
Yeah, works for us.
Okay, so they're going to win by 3, so like 4-1 kind of a thing?
Yeah, 4 goals from Joseph.
4 goals from
All
Joseph.
from inside the 6. He only scores from inside the 6.
Using his head.
Yes, exactly.
So, all right. So we got win by 99, win by 3.
I'll say 98. I'll say
98.
98.
Okay.
Yeah,
Way to level out.
Okay. And
Well, I'll say that I would say Juve's still in their preseason mode, and I think they're gonna be obviously missing some of their stars. I literally think that Joseph's gonna get his obligatory goal, and then I hope we sub every single Man United player out, and then we just end up winning 1-0. That's
All right.
what I hope for.
1-0. Oh, when you hear the chain link, it's in the back of the net. I'll go 2-1 for MLS All-Stars because of all of the defensive posture that we're going to be seeing from Juventus.
Well, it is an Italian side, so
I'm looking at 2-1, something 2-1-ish.
I like that.
I like that.
2-1, 3-1, something in there. So thanks to everybody who's on the chat, who are watching us on the YouTube, as we point to you and recognize. And we'll take questions from anybody here who's not completely and totally enthralled with watching what's going on down on the pitch, even though you should be. Once again, thanks to our friends at Continental Tire for helping us out here in Soccer in the Streets, being a part of it all tonight. And thanks to everybody who has shown up to participate in all this stuff. It's really cool. And if they could leave the Steadicam behind for our production purposes when this is over, that'd be great.
They don't need that.
That is a tremendous Steadicam, by the way. And Charles Ford on the chat says, listen to J. Sam Jones. He broke up a no-hitter yesterday. How would this happen?
Yeah.
I sure did. We're going in the 9th. I said it was absolutely going to be broken up with 2 outs. My magic powers went into effect almost immediately. 2 outs, no-hitter, ruined. And many other things for Sean Newcomb that day. We won't get into that, but the no-hitter especially ruined.
So you're biting your tongue when it comes to this particular match that's going to be coming up in MLS in the middle of the week. You're not going to do anything that's going to jinx anybody?
No, I'm going to jinx everybody.
Okay.
It's part of the brand.
All right.
And the brand is the most important thing.
Yes. The J. Sam brand.
For the culture.
Mm-hmm.
Always.
So, all right. So then go ahead. Now that you're on a roll, you said it's going to be
no injuries.
There you go.
No one's getting injured.
Thank you for that.
Okay.
0 injuries are going to happen during this game. You're all
Blame
welcome.
him.
Yes.
I'm not the Sam you're looking for.
No. So no injuries. What else?
Gosh, what else is there? I don't know how I can make it much worse. To be totally honest.
Is Diana Ross going to be involved? I really want her to miss the penalty kick again.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something about the roof. That it would get stuck or something.
Oh, we could do that. Yeah.
See, I have to think for you in this too. To think of things to jinx about.
Is the roof going to be open on Wednesday?
I think weather's supposed to be
spotty,
highly questionable. So it would not be advisable if that was to be the case, because then you'd have water coming in through a rather large hole that they'd have to use 8 minutes to close it with. But no, I've heard that there is precipitation in the forecast. So everyone dress appropriately and accordingly for where you're going to be, but not where you are.
Speaking of injuries, by the way,
yes?
we did have a Michael Parker scare for like 5 minutes today. That was horrifying.
What happened?
He comes off the field with a trainer, looking at that ankle a little bit. We know he got roughed up a little bit against Montreal.
Correct.
Doug Roberson, AJC, reporting he's all good. He's going to play Wednesday. That hurt a lot.
And in the net, off the transition opportunity. That is sacrifice right there.
Witness him.
Can I get a witness from the congregation for all-out participation?
Extra Time Radio goes hard in the paint, guys.
That is hardcore. And so, of course, retreat to between the pipes. There you go.
I do have
look out.
A report on Parkhurst as well.
Yes.
I was at Men in Blazers coming over here before this.
And you were?
And Parkhurst was on stage with the guys, and he seemed in very good spirits.
Okay.
So hopefully that ankle nonsense.
I was going to say, how was his ambulatory status?
He seemed okay.
Okay.
Yeah, he just walked up on the stage. He wasn't limping, so there you go.
Yeah, we really can't afford any more defensive injuries because we are missing a ton of defenders right now.
Right, and the folks that were here in the shift before us were discussing the activity. Oh, almost happened from long distance with injuries that are here. What are you guys looking for formation-wise? What are you looking at when it comes to a healthy? Right, as Thin Plot says on the chat, Atlanta United really unlucky to get a full-strength Toronto. How many in the back? Are we looking 3-5-2? What is the anticipation for formation?
I don't think he's going to make too much in the way of changes, to be honest with you. I think he's going to stick with what he's been doing. I think that Rimini and Lawrence are going to be in the middle, as usual. I think we're still going to have Escobar is suspended, isn't it?
Yep. No Escobar. Ambrose injured, don't know status. Zizo injured, don't know status.
Yeah, this one we have like, 2 healthy defenders? Non-suspended defenders.
Well, when in Rome, I think you just go full FIFA, but like 2 at the back, like like a 2.
It's like a
2-7-2,
like a 1-8-1 kind of thing.
something like that. Yeah, exactly.
So, Sam, with all the soccering that's going to be happening on the weekend, what are you looking at? A 3-5-2? Obviously, possibly a Miles Robinson sighting. What are you hunting for?
I could see Robinson coming in.
Yeah, I think he's coming
You may
up.
just have no choice, though, but to go back 3. Just kind of with what we're talking about here, I didn't realize even Ambrose was having some difficulty.
Yep, injured in the USL match a little while back.
That's right.
It's in Nashville last week. So you're looking probably at something along the lines of a Gressel dropping back on one wing, McCann on the other wing, and then in the middle it's what are you looking at? Miles and LGP and everything else to think about.
Well, I mean, if you're dropping Gressel back, then
wow.
You would think that would create a slot for Carlton to maybe get another start.
Yeah, if Gressel plays back, I think Carlton will be starting that game.
Yeah, I thought that it was interesting that, he starts the game before Montreal and then he doesn't start Montreal. I thought that maybe it was Tata not wanting to put him in the pressure situation on the road.
I know. Tito was fire, though. Again.
No, I'm not saying I'm not saying he wasn't. I thought Gressel was okay. He didn't have his best game.
Yeah.
So, in that
David.
instance, I was just curious as to why Carlton, who had a very good game in his first start in MLS, didn't get the replication. But maybe we see him because of the injury situation with Gressel maybe dropping back. Then we see Carlton maybe up in the attacking sector of the field.
Then you're looking at a full-strength Toronto side. Toronto taking Chicago to the woodshed last week at 3-0. Whoa! With a healthy Josie Altidore, you've got Giovinco, you have all of the pieces finally coming together, and Toronto FC sitting there not making any moves in the window because their move was getting everybody healthy, and that's what we're looking at, Sam.
Yeah, I'm not super worried about you said a fully healthy Josie Altidore. When you're only the second best athlete in your household, I think it's okay to not have to worry about him.
And who would be the first?
Oh, Sloan Stephens.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Was not aware of this.
Yeah, they're an item.
Okay. Once again, not aware.
Yeah, and like I said, she has won a U.S. Open, and he has won
and extra time.
Nothing. Well, MLS Cup, I guess.
First go around from our friends from Extra Time. Once again, thanks for coming, guys, and thanks for being a part of this whole week and this whole MLS All-Star activity. And everybody introduce yourselves, shake hands, swap out. And I know that we're a couple of minutes away from swapping out ourselves.
Why aren't they trading shirts?
See, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Or that way, or then you put it in the washer. Maybe just get a clean version and not swap out. Just
That's
get
a good
clean
point.
one.
Yeah, could we not get a sponsor to come and give us extra shirts? To if I had we could have gotten a sponsor. I'm wearing my Manchester United kit. If they'd had a backup one for me, that would have been great.
But the fact that you're wearing your Manchester United kit just meant that I thought that you would have been parking the bus when you were playing.
Oh, see, the Mourinho years and the Louis van Gaal years and the David Moyes years. I mean, they've just been very, very depressing.
I would have fallen down out of my chair, but I really don't have any room to go backwards to do a Van Gaal impression really quickly.
Queens Park Raisins.
No, they're getting a wind-up order. They owe about $44 million because of financial fair play in the championship. So they're going to be, and they have a transfer ban. So it's a little work for QPR these days.
I just thought it was hilarious that one coach called another team the Queens Park Raisins. That was
when was this?
It was in a post-game presser after a Man United QPR game, and he said Queens Park Raisins.
Wow,
and
was not aware of this.
Yes, I think YouTube, which looks like it's hosting us right now, and EQ.
We have loitering.
What's going on here? Oh, my bad.
Yeah, right.
We're doing something.
Thanks,
jerk.
Eric.
We're doing the multitasking multimedia extravaganza that is this. As clouds are rolling in, it's referred to as this.
Shout out to Al Gore for inventing the internet for us.
Saw that coming about a mile and a half away. What's the one thing, Sam, this week? You recently have relocated. You just
Yes.
said. Okay.
Yes, moved to Athens
Okay.
to get closer to San Franco.
I was gonna say now
There
there's
you
two Sams
go.
in Athens, and this town probably ain't big enough for the two of us. We'll figure it out.
Want to bet?
We'll find space.
What's the one thing that you were looking forward to the most this week, other than the All-Star game itself, with all of the pomp and circumstance and everything going on? Was there one event or one thing that you wanted to do or wanted to see? And we'll put this out to the folks on the chat as well. What's the one thing you're most looking forward to from this entire week? And being here does not count.
Oh,
You know,
Oh, 'cause that was
I've never been to any All-Star game for any sport over here, and I'm going to the one Wednesday. It'll be my first one, so I'm just really interested to see
volley.
Really interested to see just the teams up close. I've never watched Juventus play live in person. Obviously, they're missing some people, but I would love to see what Tata kind of puts out there to kind of hopefully kind of go for the win, not just kind of.
Oh,
I was joking earlier that I don't want anybody being injured. I mean, it's true, but I would love to see us go for it and see us put a test at Juventus and to see exactly, where a lot of our players are.
Wait, you guys missing some people? Did I miss it? Is Ronaldo not going to be here?
That'd be a no.
Oh man, I'm out. I'm leaving.
All right, so you're swapping out now. Is that what you're doing?
No, I'll stay because I'm a man of the people, unlike Cristiano Ronaldo.
Man of the people, Sam Franco. Is that on your business card?
The only thing on my business card is envy from Patrick Bateman. That's the only thing that is on my business card.
Sam?
Yeah.
J. Sam, sorry.
Uh-huh.
Not that Sam, this Sam.
Yeah, I'm just too busy
other
making
Sam.
American
Right.
Psycho references. I apologize.
Yes, I'm aware of you, Christian Bale.
I can do 1,000 sit-ups now.
I bet you could. I want to see him, especially after that effort that you had there playing butt down there on the pitch. We got him. The most, the one thing that you're looking forward to the most, other than the All-Star game itself from this week, would be what?
I'm looking forward to sneaking a selfie with Alphonso Davies in the locker room while maintaining my professionalism. He's not going to have any idea. No one's going to have any idea except me.
Okay.
And I'm going to have it forever.
How do you plan on doing this, sir?
Carefully.
I'm aware of that, but
Right.
no, we need the machinations and trying to figure out how you're going to get this selfie pulled off.
Gosh.
Then are you going to send it to the Bundesliga and sit there and say, hey, this is what Alphonso Davies and I are up to?
No, well, first Facebook.
Okay.
Right? I have to let everyone know. Then the gram.
Got it.
And then I'm just going to go from there.
Oh,
Got to do it for the gram.
Since the Migos calls it the gram, is that why we're calling it the gram and not the IG or whatever?
Well,
Yeah, that way.
And the Migos dictionary is the official dictionary in Atlanta.
Okay,
So
just
you
checking.
have to follow every single rule.
Right.
Right.
Okay, just checking. All right, we've had our 20 minutes. Who's next?
Yeah, somebody take this microphone from me.
Swapping in.
I need a beer.
Swapping in.
Get in, Quintana.
Tagging in.
Joe.
There we go. Tagging in.
YouTube, holla at your boy.
All right. So we're swapping in people from shows and things. Oh, Joe Patrick coming in. So Jarrett, you get here. Seat number 3. 20 minutes. Go. What is this? There you go. What is this?
Is this thing on?
What's up, man? How's it going, man? Very good. Been a while. Been waiting on
All right.
Yeah. Been trying to do a
Oh, someone's too close to the mic.
Hey, guys.
Hey,
How are we doing?
gentlemen.
Fancy seeing you here. Ladies?
Well, I think we opened a passage to hell by all sitting down together. Tip your servers. So
what are we going to talk about
What do you guys think of Dan right so far? Dan's got the moves.
Dan?
Kevin would have scored twice as many by now.
Garganino
most have.
is here what they call him.
Dan still got it.
If Joseph Martinez
6
is the
minutes.
Venezuelan Viper, what is
6
Dan
minutes.
Gargan?
The Garg. This could go down a road.
The,
that we don't wanna go down.
Gargan
Think
the
about
Gorgon?
that. We'll count on our Facebook Live
I
viewers
think we're making
to
him
tell
angry.
us.
I think we're making him angry at this
The
point.
Gargler. The Gargan. Never mind.
Yeah, the gargoyle works.
That's not what I said.
So yeah, what's going on, guys? I just came back from the event at the Tabernacle. It was quite fun. It was quite fun. I got to sit right next to the Qatari or not Qatari, the Etihad, models with the suits. That was pretty exciting. I was like, about 10, 15 feet from them for the first time in my life. So exciting stuff going on there.
It's always next year.
It was actually pretty interesting. I did not expect this. They actually brought out Joseph and Miguel to talk to the crowd, and Justin was
nice.
down there with them. So they brought out the three of them to sit at the table.
So
Yeah, see,
Justin was the one
didn't-
talking, really.
Justin didn't
No,
travel.
no,
We were
actually-
making sure he wasn't dead.
Joseph was talking English. I mean, he was not really needing much translation. He was giving responses in English, and then it was funny when they went out. The row next to where I was on the side front row in the second level. Clear, it was empty, and all the team staff came in. So Tata was basically like 2 seats away from me on my left, and it was fun just to watch his reaction to what was going on because, my God, that must be the most like foreign possible thing you could see for him.
Just going through the
It
motions.
was a good time though. Yeah.
Now, were they
He was
more-
laughing. He was dying. He was cracking up and stuff. It was great.
Were they more animated than they are, say, when they're doing interviews for the media? Or-
Yes,
'cause, I mean,
absolutely.
it seems as
Absolutely.
though there's two personalities. There's the players outside the locker room, dressing room. There's the players inside the dressing room.
Yeah. I mean, it was extremely loud when they brought them out. Joseph, did his pose where he puffs out his chest and does that thing. And man, that was great. That got a huge reaction. And then, but when they started doing the interviews, Miguel was the funniest one. He was the one who was cracking the jokes, which shocked me because normally,
He's a funny guy.
he is.
Was he speaking English or is he?
No, he was
Spanish?
translating through
Okay.
Justin. He may have said one or two things in English.
Okay.
He's a funnier guy than people give him credit for.
It was pretty funny when Roger Bennett made a joke about instead of the Motley Crue song "Girls, Girls, Girls," it's "Goals, Goals, Goals" here in Atlanta, and that was pretty funny to watch Justin have to try to translate that one for Miggy. You could just hear Justin say like a bunch of Spanish words and then Motley Crue, "Girls, Girls, Girls." It was pretty funny, but yeah, it was a good time. It was a good time.
In that vein, are we? Have you guys realized yet that we're probably not going to see a player like Joseph Martinez for a very, very long time, with what he's doing right now for Atlanta United and MLS?
Yeah, it's.
I mean, Europe's going to become calling. I mean,
Oh, see, I would disagree. They're going to come calling, I think, but I don't think he's going to go anywhere.
no,
I think he's too
no,
happy
I mean,
where he is right
the
now.
offers are going to come in.
Yeah.
But
It's just funny to think about. You're going through. And
If he's on the way out, is he going to go and do to a team what Alphonso Davies just did to a team on his way out the door?
They're different players. They're different players for sure. Actually, it was funny. I was just looking at the goal scoring plot of all of Joseph's goals the last 2 years. He has 4 goals from farther away than the penalty spot. So like
he's an
all
ace
of
in
his
the
goals.
box.
I mean, he's a poacher. He's
Ace
a
in the
total
box.
poacher. He doesn't do anything. He's not like a trickster. Doesn't have a ton of flair in that sense. He's just a great goal scorer.
I mean, could you imagine if he was healthy last year?
Oh
He
yeah.
already
How many
broken the
goals?
record.
I mean,
Yeah,
to
he
be
already
to be
broken the
fair,
record.
if you remember the preseason last year, he didn't score a goal that was not involving a diving header for a while.
Yeah, it's
He
crazy.
had a flair for the dramatic. We should have
crazy.
seen this coming.
He's definitely the best player in MLS with his head. It seems like. I mean, he's 5'7", leads the league in goals over the last 2 years with his head. So pretty impressive stuff.
He's fearless.
Josh, come
I mean-
switch. I'm playing.
Eric's stepping out to go play.
I gotta go play, guys. I'm gonna go embarrass myself real
I
quick.
think he broke his nose again. Maybe that's what he said. He didn't say that. Yeah.
Yeah, he re-broke it when he went over to talk to Chad Marshall. I'm pretty sure.
I mean,
He was wearing a mask in practice one day. He walked by and it looked like Darkwing Duck.
Yeah, I think he wears it in training, but he just doesn't wear it in the games. He does not like it. But
Oh no, that thing's gonna get deposited in the 5th row if he does.
all right, Jerry, you're the radio host. Lead us. Lead us to
Are you gonna
water.
introduce me? Just sat down.
Hey Josh, what's going on?
What's up, guys? Eric told me to sub in, and I think we should do constant Quintana play-by-play when he steps on the field.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Constant.
Can we get El Presidente in here as well?
Oh wow.
Oh, I do have to
search for him.
I do have to rub something in Sam Jones's face. I don't know where he is.
He's actually pretty good, by the
He's
way.
standing up and ready to fight you.
Oh man.
I made Alfonso Davies laugh today. I compared him to Alex Hunter from FIFA.
What? Who is that?
Come on, the career mode fictional character who goes from
You guys are so.
an
bad.
England tryout to Manchester United.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
To the
so-
Galaxy to
yes. Well, he goes on loan to the Galaxy, of course, but it is
Oh.
his career is like a video game. I mean, 2 years ago, Alfonso Davies was an academy player. Now he's just like ball rolling MLS defenders into their graves. So
I described it the other night. It was like watching somebody. Watching somebody defend him is like watching someone try and beat Goro in the original Mortal Kombat, but blindfolded. You're just sticking your foot out there randomly, hoping to God you hit a ball.
That is kind of what it looked like. How much credit do we give to Vancouver's development with him? Do we think that Vancouver is kind of advanced his process a little bit, or is it something that you think he's doing on his own? Because I don't know that a lot of guys coming out of Vancouver in the last
I think
5
it can be
years or
both.
so.
I think
Yeah.
that's both. They've done right by him, but he's also that guy. He's got that mindset.
It's incredible to watch. It seems like, I mean, just the progression of a young player is cool to watch. Hopefully, we'll see similar progression with Andrew Carlton over the next couple of years here, just looking more comfortable on the ball, being able to handle the physicality of the professional game. And I mean, I'd imagine Davey's going to go on loan when he goes to Bayern.
Possibly.
Yeah.
I mean, that was my natural inclination when I heard about the deal. We'll see. It's not unheard of for those guys to have a great preseason or I mean, it's tough because he's coming in kind of in the middle of the season. It will be the middle of the season, but you look at a guy like when Tottenham brought in Dele Alli to bring this back to Tottenham.
What a shock Joe wants to talk about. Really surprised.
He was a £5 million signing, and he came in and he was starting the second game of the season for them. So anything's possible in soccer, but it's hard to tell exactly what's going on with him because we're outsiders. We're not close to like what they're doing in their youth development because it's not like Carl Robinson was like developing Davies. I mean, he was giving them.
I hope not.
He was giving him the playing time and things like that. But
hit it long.
The where these players are really made is before that stage. So clearly they're doing something right.
Here he is, Eric Quintana taking the field. Look at the red shirt. Can't miss him.
He looks like he's gonna sit in he's gonna be like a Carlos Carmona
wrapping?
8.
Is he wrapping his wrist?
Wrist wrap.
His wrist is wrapped. This is
My
blood sport for
goodness.
Eric.
He would wrap his wrists.
Eric Rometti right here.
My two ringers are out there as well with the Home Before Dark and Mouths of the South combination team.
There you
So
go.
should be good. Got Austin Long out there. I've played with Austin before.
Is he any good?
Austin can play with the ball at his feet.
His work rate is off the charts. Almiron-esque.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's saying a lot.
Yes. Probably better.
We tried to put together an SDH team, but that didn't. That
it didn't
just
work.
fell apart.
Well, Jason is a good player, but
Jason's the only one of us who's a good player.
It's been I know he's got the knee issues. Oh,
Eric with the sitter. Eric
Oh,
Quintana
Amar's
misses
down.
an absolute sitter.
Wow. I don't know if he'll be invited back on the podcast next week. That was no
What a
good.
disaster.
What a disaster. Oh, man. This is fun.
This is horrible.
No, that's
No.
Well, it's good to know that all of us media types are all bad at soccer.
Us league media.
Us league media.
Payson Schwinn was down there sandbagging everybody, talking about he was going to get hurt. Then he went out there and just ran around like a
Payson
road
did
runner.
okay. Payson and Sam Jones had a crazy 1v1 battle several times in our match. And Sam Jones, good player, excellent player.
Stop feeding his ego.
Oh man, I was very impressed.
We're going to be down in the locker room in a couple weeks. He's just going to switch places with one of the players.
It just goes to
Just ask
show,
to be interviewed.
there's a lot of young talent in places like Milledgeville. Growing up in Milledgeville, that U.S. soccer is missing.
Yeah.
Yes, Milledgeville, home of the state mental ward.
That is true, isn't it?
Yes, it may have shut down, but how appropriate. It may have been saying to shut it down.
Has anyone scored in this game yet?
I think
No.
we're 0-0
We're
right
still
now.
0-0.
No, we're still 0-0.
0-0 because we're in America. Oh, is it?
Oh, so it's
So we have
MLS
Team
team
MLS versus
Mouths of the South and
Mouths of the South and Home Before Dark
and Terminus Legion.
and Terminus. Yeah, just a whole.
It's an Atlanta team.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
local.
It's the best
versus
and worst of
national.
us. Well, the best of us with the worst of our talent at some points.
I haven't seen much best tonight. I don't know. You guys think?
You racked up a couple goals. That's fine.
I got a brace out there tonight. Felt good.
While we have a break in the action, I might as well tout another conversation I had with an MLS All-Star today, Francisco Calvo.
Did you show him
Respect
proper
Calvo?
respect?
Talking about he was
Respect?
talking about respect and how
Okay,
Did he just
you
talk?
They
Did
don't
he
get-
just
they
talk
don't-
about
they
it out
don't
of the
get
blue?
any.
Did he just bring it up to you to say we need more respect?
pretty much. Yeah, he
What happened? I want to hear verbatim
So-
what he said. This is absolutely fascinating.
there was one great part where he talked about how he was basically talking about how MLS teams think that when they go play Minnesota or when Minnesota comes to play them, it's going to be an easy win. And he said that he talked about when they played LAFC the other day, when LAFC came in, they didn't bring Vela, so they didn't think they needed him, and then they dropped 5 goals on them. So he was touting that. He was touting that, and yeah, he's just a kind of like a defiant character, I would say. He's I actually kind of like it, to be honest.
So,
But you need someone
Minnesota's-
you need someone like that on your team. Like you need someone who's not going to take it.
Especially looking at Minnesota, who seem to be kind of finding their, I was going to say second wind, but really their first wind and starting to actually get into form. Guys like Calvo are the ones that keep you up, even
Right.
if it's a little bit ridiculous, maybe irrational at times, a little rah-rah, but you need someone like that when you're losing to keep you up. And
For sure.
Minnesota have been looking quite good recently with the addition of Quintero, and so props to him.
You don't
But
even
still
need you don't
hilarious.
even need that player to be like actually good. You just need someone with that kind of mentality.
Exactly.
And they're only 3 points out of a playoff spot. I mean, it's very realistic they could get in, and they still have a DP slot open.
Red card, Austin. Dog show.
They just have to improve their home,
Austin
their
Long
away
out
form.
there.
'cause
Austin Long
they've
out
been
there.
struggling on the road, Minnesota.
Oh,
I think they've
yeah.
only got 1 win out of 8 or 9.
Yeah,
It's-
one road win, I believe. But they actually have the second most home wins
Right.
in MLS. They've got more home wins than Atlanta does, which is crazy. Yeah, they've got 8 home wins. Atlanta only has 7.
Respect.
So yeah, absolutely.
I mean, here's the thing: they're not out of the picture in the West by any means.
No, not at all. Not at all. They just need to start picking up road points. If they could pick up road points, if they were even average on the road, if they were even just like a little bit below average, they would probably be in a playoff spot. I mean, they've just been absolutely abysmal. They have one win, I think, on the road. So yeah. I mean, but then how do you turn that around for them? Like, I don't know. It seems like a large sample size at this point for them not to have gotten it together on the road. So anyway, it'll be an interesting story to watch.
We need to approach a very fun topic for the next few weeks. How many goals does Joseph Martinez have?
24.
Yep.
24.
In 3 games coming up, you get to go to Orlando.
Oh
my God.
Man.
Austin Long. Wow.
We need to start approaching the possibility he might match or break that record in Orlando.
That would be-
Yes, absolutely. How many games do we
And
have?
how that's going to go over.
How many games do we have till Orlando? We have Toronto,
Columbus, I believe.
So we have Toronto, another game, and then Orlando?
Yes.
Toronto, Columbus, Orlando.
So if Joseph Martinez scores in all those games, he would break the consecutive games scored record in Orlando. There.
And then can break
he would tie it
the
the week
most
before.
goals.
And possibly
He's
break.
2 away from tying Valeri, who set the record last year.
Yeah.
I forget what I think it's 8. I want to say
9, I believe.
9. Okay, something like that. So
Something like
I know he's 2 away.
But this could
2 away from
it could
tying.
be a very Schadenfreude kind of.
And Jared,
Oh my!
And Jared, how many goals does Seattle Sounders have?
Right now 22. I believe.
22.
You know, that's a good question. I would
The
be, I would
hashtag Joseph versus Seattle lives on.
I would be curious to know if a
Also-
golden boot winner has ever scored more goals than a team in a season.
Also, as Mike Conti pointed out the other night, Colorado has 25 goals.
Oh.
So
Yeah.
he's
he's
hot on
closing
their
in.
tails.
He's
He's closing in on another victim.
on another team.
This is really business has really picked up in the last few minutes while we're making fun of all of this.
Yeah,
Well,
the ball's getting in the mixer.
a fascinating cast of characters on the pitch
Oh,
here.
whoa.
Austin's down again. Austin's down again. There we go.
This game is actually mesmerizing. It's like
Yeah, I'm
watching. It's
loving
like
it.
watching foosball.
Well, there's actually there's passing. I mean, there's
You know, there's always like a yellow team in foosball. There's like
That's true.
oh, never mind. That was the bus.
I'm sure you guys have mentioned this, but it's awesome just to have a venue like this in the middle of the city. I mean, it's something that, people who grew up playing, watching, or in Atlanta never would have imagined it'd be anything like this. And here we are, MLS All-Star Week.
Yeah.
Taking this in. It's almost surreal for me.
It is surreal. You know, I was, it's just weird. I mean, it's going to be weird for these guys who are with MLS Digital, but, us as, fans
Hey,
or
Harris is here.
even just local
Hey,
media,
Harris.
we see these guys, we hear
Go
them
Owls.
on podcasts and stuff. And it's interesting to just see them, just around. You're just running into them, voices you've heard a long time or people you've read a long time, met Jeff Carlisle today, that kind of thing. It's kind of surreal.
It is, because a couple of years ago, this wasn't something that we thought was going to be a thing with, nice save, beautifully done. Wrong shoulder. This is something that you know, when you announced the team back in the day, when Arthur Blank drops in on a helicopter, this is not something we expect to be a thing to this level. I don't know that most people rationally expected it to explode like it did in the city. And it's been really fun to watch. And then things like this, hopefully the expansion of future street soccer venues around other MARTA stations will be fun. Oh, you got another shot? Oh. Just the future expansion, hopefully, is going to be awesome.
We have to cut for a second when they. Oh, I think Eric's is subbed in for Austin. So Quintana's in goal now.
Had to make a change.
That is, talk about a super sub.
Always hurts to get subbed out as a keeper.
Well, he should have been sent off.
Yeah.
Austin, that was clear denial of a goal-scoring opportunity.
The manager had no choice, but it was only a matter of time before the red was shown.
I fully expected Eric just to pick that ball up and throw it across the goal.
So, who is your favorite interview? I don't know if it,
beautifully
the
worked.
All-Star guys. Is
Very
it just you,
nice.
Joe, that's been around the All-Star guys interviewing? All been in there, or
I haven't been able to.
Yeah,
get
I think
on for any
up here I
interviews.
am.
Who's been? So Calvo was a good one.
Calvo was fun.
Yeah.
Calvo was fun, but they're pretty buttoned up. I mean, the best interview.
I'm gonna cut for a second. Like your wrist wrap, Eric.
You're a personal trainer. You know that's not good for me. You're all right. And then come and sit down, right? You good? You guys all right?
Sure, man.
Go. This is a great podcast. 10 out of 10. Killer. Listen. Huh? This is a great podcast. 10 out of 10. Would listen again. Just let me know. Jesus, almost 10, all right.
Playing? Are we playing? I need to get a game.
The over 4 all conference he was about to play again.
I'm not playing college kids. That's against my code.
Yeah, cool. I didn't know.
I have a strict personal rule. I don't play college kids. Don't want to, embarrass me.
We're on standby right now. Okay. Cool. I'm Devin. Good to meet you.
I'm Joe. I'm Devin. Nice.
Oh, gosh. Well, the one in front of goal, it like hopped. And it hit my foot. It hopped and then hit my foot. I was like, what the fuck? I'm going to be there tomorrow and Wednesday. I should be there. Well, I'll see you on Wednesday. See you.
Sam, see you. Game on.
course.
To continue the conversation, the best interview, as always.
We're still not in safe harbor hour, so I think we have to be slightly careful.
Can I just say?
Oh, great.
The official was against us.
Nice.
VAR was against us. A shambolic performance from the
I'm
officiating.
sorry, Austin should have been sent off.
Truly. I mean, at least 4 handballs that weren't called.
The narrow pitch really affected you. You could tell that the.
All right, you know what? That was miss. Yellow card for simulation, for sure. This was terrible. This is. I mean, I don't know who we blame here, but
I think Austin should be fined as well for not leaving the pitch in a time.
Red card for stimulation.
After
Wait, what?
dark.
Is that what I said? Stimulation.
On pitch stimulation. Yeah.
I guess we're no longer home before dark. Ay, Dios mío.
After dark.
So the best interview of the day,
dark.
or well, including yesterday,
After
Andrew
dark.
Carlton. It's always Andrew Carlton because he's always talking about how everything is sick. Everything is so sick.
Potting after dark.
We're gathering.
Are we still on break?
No, we're
we're
live.
You're live.
We've been live the entire time.
The butter.
There are no breaks.
James Ellis, chili herring, thin plot. Thanks for watching.
Can we still come by and play?
Can you come by and play?
If
I would assume so.
Give it
Hour
a
or
shot.
so.
But if you're,
You got to get here soon.
yeah, if you're close, you might as well try. You can always come out and hang out.
So, how many times have you guys actually been here before tonight?
This is my first time.
This is my first time.
I came on when they did the big event with the actual club, and it was
Nice.
This is pretty fantastic. I'm not gonna lie.
I'll probably start coming more often. I mean, now that I've signed up for this, I can start getting the emails, and that kind of helps to know when the open times are. It's convenient. I mean, it's convenient. Like, I live closer to soccer fields, but it still would be quicker for me to come down here to play because I live near a MARTA station than it would be to go to any other field.
Well, I mean, yeah, I played in a couple of adult leagues, and I will say that the thing I do like about the ones I play in, they're 11 on 11.
Yeah,
with 3
right.
officials, and it's legit.
Yeah.
It's as legit as you can get in an adult league.
This is definitely like
I do want to try that. I've never played 11.
This is a different form of legit in the sense that you've got the cage and you've got the nets that are never going to go away. And
I especially like this field because it's much smaller than all the other indoor fields I've ever played.
And the
on.
beautiful thing about it is we don't really have a place to emphasize more of a futsal element like most other countries do. So this emphasizes the techers.
I was going to say this is where you find some footing.
Yeah, where you're touched. Everybody will find your touch in a small place.
And everybody
let's go right here. Come on.
Can we talk some MLS?
Let's talk some MLS.
This is David Goss from Extra Time Radio. I'm here as a sub. I'm trying to get you guys over the finish line here.
Yeah, let's do it.
What did we just jump in on? What are we talking?
We were talking about how this small area actually is a beautiful thing in American football where we don't really emphasize futsal because you're actually getting techers and tight ball play in a small confined area.
Talking to
make for better players.
You're talking to 2 believers.
There we go.
Question for you guys though. You get to pick a futsal team out of MLS players. Ooh. Who's your number 1 pick?
Oh, David Villa.
David
Villa.
Oh,
Interesting.
Oh wow.
You know
go
what?
Piatti.
That's a good one. I'm gonna go with someone who's lazy but skillful, Gio Dos Santos.
Yeah, Gio Dos Santos for sure.
Oh, you agree with me?
I just love in
Bobby
a
never
small
agreed.
space, a smaller player.
Yeah.
The true techers, and just I think Villa could launch that shot. From goal line to goal line.
Deadly goal scorer. On
Here's
this field.
a sad fact though. Small-sided games, the team that plays solid defense wins. I'm gonna go with like Rod Fanning. Sit in front of the goal, defend hard. Listen, there's a lot of Geos in the world.
Give me the hometown Jeff Lorenowitz if that's
Nice.
the case.
Fair.
I was about to say, there's nothing Bobby can't ruin. It doesn't matter how fun it is. He can make it a defensive struggle.
How many times you got to say it that you play to win the game, David?
Exactly.
Look at this yellow team.
Defense wins
He's going to draft
championships.
Tim Melia first, isn't he?
I think that I'm trying to think right now, but I guess Eric Rometti would be my number 1 pick, right?
Okay. Yeah.
I'm already
Oh my
sold.
God.
That's great. That's a big time sell.
You know what we call that?
It's all
we
about
call that pulling a Doyle.
Yeah, it's all about potential, Bobby.
When
I
you
don't
say
care
what
about
the crowd
production.
wants to hear, it's called pulling a Doyle.
So we made offensive choices, and you guys went defensive. So that kind of shows you where both of our headsets are.
We're trying to win the game 4-3.
Well, you guys are Atlanta fans.
Exactly. We like goals, man.
You're Tata.
We like goals.
Why ever defend? Why ever slow down?
We talked on the podcast a couple weeks ago.
Absolutely.
Who is the MVP of the league if you had to pick between Joseph and Miggy?
Oh God, that's like saying which one of my kids do I like better?
I don't know if you want to answer that.
Do you have kids?
No, I don't.
Okay, good.
No,
So you
that's
don't
the
have
best
to
part.
answer
Yes,
that
I don't
one.
really have to answer. No, Joseph. Mickey has not had the best season. I think he was better last year.
I think
I think there's
yeah.
pressure. I think there's a little bit of pressure. I think his eyes.
Oh, nice
He's
finish.
even said, that he's looking at a move in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
We understand that. I think his expectation to score was set a little bit higher last year, and Joseph's doing things that we haven't seen in this league. 27 goals being the record. He's at 24 after 23.
He's going to shatter that.
He's going to shatter.
If you put together the best offensive season that this league has seen, I don't know how you can't be the front runner to win.
Jovinko 2015, 22 and 16. I mean, Joseph probably is going to get to 38 combined goals and assists. Plus, and Joseph's been amazing, but Jovinko in 2015 was mind-boggling to watch. He didn't just score.
Yeah, but let's put those numbers.
Mind to watch him on a field.
Let's put those numbers up against what Tito Villalba did last year. I mean, you're talking about. You said what 22 and 16, and Tito was 15 and 11 in less games, and in a less prominent role.
No,
so I would say that you have to look at monumental numbers like what we said. If Joseph breaks that record, it's no question. And if we can win the Supporters Shield and be a number 1 seed, and it's because we have the best goal differential in the league, and that's the guy that did it.
Right.
That's the guy.
Here, tell me this though: if Joseph breaks the record, there's got to be something in the crowd in the stadium that lives forever to remember that. What do you think it is?
The hair.
You think everyone just gets a Joseph
hair
haircut?
changes every 5 minutes.
Apparently, he said this morning, he's like, well, when I wake up, I see how I feel. Sometimes it changes and sometimes it stays the same.
The iconic thing about Joseph that I think we'll all remember is, when he did the jump up on the fire station. So if we could do some kind of tifo like that, with
That's
just
true.
like the fire, if we could bring that back. I know that the team didn't really love when he did that because the fire went off about a foot from his face.
That is the
that's
most
a large
Atlanta-
investment to stick up.
That's the most Atlanta sports thing to
exactly.
possibly have your
what a goal!
To have your major investment possibly set himself on fire.
It just made me think like Metallica, Guns N' Roses in Montreal in 1992 with James Hetfield, like turning him into the Toxic Avenger because he stepped into the pyro.
It would be the most expensive s'more Arthur Blanken ever bought.
But at least it would have great hair.
It would have great hair.
and
a
given the
lot of
prices in the
earrings.
stadium, that's brilliant.
Exactly.
All of a sudden, hey, they should be selling a Atlanta United s'mores in Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
I wouldn't
called
put
the
it past
Joseph.
him. I wouldn't put it past him. Have you guys been to a match in Mercedes-Benz?
I've been to one game. I've worked at those.
Oh.
I've not gotten like the
There's-
concession crowd vibe.
We're so spoiled, and I've had the pleasure of seeing the game, seeing Jogo Benito all over the world, and I'm a diehard Arsenal fan as well. So I've seen it in beyond diehard. Tattooed on my chest.
Hey,
so.
Darren Eales almost started.
This just took a turn.
Oh,
Darren Eales almost started a fight with Chesney today at the welcome party.
I'm not surprised, and we were also on the same fantasy football team last year for the Falcons. So it was funny. I went to the draft in an Arsenal jersey, a Bergkamp Arsenal jersey, sitting next to Darren Eales. So that was a lot of fun.
That's amazing. I can't believe that we're talking about Arsenal and Tottenham right now. I can't believe that.
I want
got
to
there.
know.
Mistakes
in the,
were made.
in the Atlanta United community.
Yes.
Darlington Nagby gets healthy.
Yes.
You've got Rometty and you've got Lorenowitz.
Yes.
What happens?
I think you actually might see Darlington play more of an attacking position, and you might see almost a position change because we can't keep running a 3-5-2 if our wing backs keep getting hurt and our defenders keep getting hurt. So we're gonna have to go into a situation where we
News
might.
for you this weekend. You might see it.
It's gonna be
You don't
awful.
have enough bodies.
We don't have any bodies. Yeah.
Well, you guys, Chris Winger, Bobby Warshaw, Dan Gargan, we got
Come on
bodies.
out. Oh, Dan Gargan is the one that we're trying to. We're
Yeah.
petitioning Dan.
Hey,
Gargan was
Dan,
born to play
get out of the
wingback.
booth. Get on the field.
Exactly. Kev doesn't need you.
Bring back Bobby Boswell.
Oh, dude, Bobby Boswell would be.
He
amazing.
almost scored the most important goal of the season
Oh,
last year.
I would bring back Bobby Boswell in a
Did
heartbeat.
Bobby Boswell get
If nothing
votes?
else, just for the tweets.
Did he get votes for fan MVP last year?
Yes.
I hope so.
He
Yes.
probably should have.
Does Lorenowitz win that?
Get
every
out of here! I
time?
love that.
Oh.
I see you.
And
Yeah, whoever's wearing the Peru Pizarro jersey, by the way, is a winner.
I was going to ask if anybody knew which this one was.
Atletico Nacional.
There we go.
Love it.
Okay.
My Colombian brother.
right.
And mi gente up here.
There we go.
Keep him to one side. Keep him. That's it.
You guys, Bobby's just going
Watch
to come
the
out
lane.
here every week.
Don't
and
let him.
coach kids.
Yeah, that's it.
Here's the thing. I will tell you a true story. We're at Generation Adidas Cup. the
Hey,
best
track
young
that
players in
runner.
the
Track
country.
that runner.
And Bobby's like, if I could take every American kid and just teach them the half turn every day of every year,
Yeah.
America would win a World Cup.
That's right.
You talking about Cruyff turns? Just do
No.
Cruyff on Cruyff
Getting
on
the
Cruyff?
ball on the half turn in tight space.
It's literally just controlling
Make
the
that
ball
run
under
harder.
pressure. That's Bobby's dream.
All right.
Basically, Darlington Nagby.
Here I am thinking Cruyff on Cruyff on Cruyff.
No, because you have flair,
Keep him to one
creativity,
side.
and
Yeah.
you like fun.
Connect the first one. Just connect the first one.
So I was going to ask you, what are you guys' opinions on a player like a Jeff Larenowitz stepping up in this year for a Supporter Shield team? Is Jeff? You guys talked about MVP earlier, and I know Atlanta United is known as an offensive team, but you have to look at some of our defenders that have maybe been stepping up in a big way as well.
Yeah, you always see with MLS teams, it's like, because you have salary cap, you have that one random veteran guy or a guy you don't expect who becomes a huge part of that team, right? I mean, obviously, Drew Moore for TFC is an obvious one, and they went out and paid some money for him. They got him, but you need that linchpin.
Yes!
For that piece.
Well, it's like
Let's go!
And Fanny from Montreal as well.
Yeah, right. And so I think when they brought Larenowitz in, you knew, okay, this is a guy who knows the league, right? Because even guys like Guzan and whatnot, they don't know this league. No. And this league's unique. And you've seen, I think, how much they've adjusted already.
I think
how
Larenowitz has
comfortable they
gotten better.
I mean,
that's from last season to this season. I mean, like just his defensive positioning and Parker's defensive positioning for Atlanta has saved us in a lot.
Well,
of
if you're Larenowitz, you're like, oh, I don't have to run. I can just get in the right spot. These guys will run all the Like, imagine if you had Almiron and Villalba in front of you. You're like, oh, okay, that's easy. I'll just do this. I'll just read the press.
Gentle reminder
It's
that
amazing.
Larenowitz did not start the inaugural game. You went with Carmona at the 6, and Julian Gressel sitting at the 8.
Yep. And would you say that
Pass him
Carmona is
yeah.
a miss this season?
That's it. Good
Carmona's
movement.
missed. Would you say Carmona is missed this season?
I miss watching Carmona.
Yes.
Carmona
Hey,
was
yellow.
incredible.
Yeah, hold that spot.
and
Hold that
never
spot.
flashy about it.
Safe now, safe.
I wrote an
Well
article at the
done.
end of the season. I called Carmona an offensive lineman, basically. We don't talk about him when things are going great.
He was that tank.
He had that little bit of flair, which
Yeah.
makes him entertaining at that position. I don't know if Rometty will have that, but Rometty might be here for 4 or 5 years. Like, he's a piece, if you hope he's right, that you can kind of build around in that midfield.
I think he's
as other
Larenowitz's
faces
replacement.
change.
I think he's Jeff's. He's going to be eventually Jeff's
It's a
replacement.
really popular opinion right now around Atlanta that he is that guy that you wonder how long does Lorenzo.
There's a lot of talent on this pitch right here.
Down the road.
Down the road.
Yeah, that when Larenowitz decides he's done, whatever that may be,
Ooh.
then Eric Rometty gives you an option to slot into that spot.
Wasn't Jeff close to hanging it up after this season or this past season?
we were kind of on the
talking to him.
fence.
Yeah, we were trying to bring. It was more us trying to convince him to come back for another season.
But here's the thing: if you put 70,000 in the building, I feel like you could roll out a 50-year-old, and they'd have the energy to play every once in a while. Like,
I'll give you that.
How are you gonna?
But we're not talking once
if
in a
you're
while. We're
Jeff
talking 30
But if you're
plus
Jeff
matches.
Larenowitz and you played at Gillette Stadium in front of some empty crowds for
Oh.
years, and you got this chance, like,
Oh,
hang
yeah, of
on
course.
for a little bit.
Meanwhile, Michael
And-
Parkhurst is aging backwards.
Yes. Yeah, he's Benjamin Button of the defense.
Yeah. Okay.
You guys, it was a pleasure. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Oh, Mike's. So I'll just sit here by myself. for a
I'll talk to you
little
till
bit.
somebody comes in and
Till
tags me
someone
out.
tags us out. So for the rest of the season for Atlanta United, what are you most excited for? Is
I
it
am
the
most
Supporter
excited
Shield
to.
push?
Well, I mean, the Supporter Shield push is going to be great. I'm very interested to see how we finish strong because we haven't been in this position. Last
Right.
year was about making the playoffs.
Right.
First year, everybody's buzzing. This year, it's about like we have to actually finish strong. They have all the talent. They have everything in front of them to win. We can go on a run.
Yeah.
We have a favorable schedule. We're pretty much home and away on an even keel. It's not like we have, we don't have DC set up where we've got 14 home matches.
Or
left.
last year where you guys
Yeah,
had
or
to
last year
cram
where we had,
everything
yeah,
in.
we're cramming 8 matches in 24
How
days.
is that as a fan? Trying
Amazing.
to get to every
Oh,
game. and
amazing,
Joseph
amazing.
pouring it in.
September last year was a grind.
It was, but it was great.
It was a grind.
Just having a drink.
Just
and
the
eat and
drinking
cheer.
alone, man. I narrowly survived.
Yeah. We should talk to.
You are Orlando's right.
We should
You
go.
are made of polyurethane, Kevin.
I've never heard someone say Orlando's right. That's a new
I didn't
one.
think I'd hear that here.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to jump in? Sure.
Come
I mean,
on
we
in,
got to
man.
talk to MLS scheduling about fans drinking and the need to allow them to space out because you need your rest, you need to stretch,
Yeah,
you need
absolutely.
regen, you need everything.
I mean, I think that all of the new laws in Atlanta to be able to sell alcohol earlier on Sundays were just because of Mercedes-Benz.
I love that.
I
I love that.
It's an
I
early.
mean, that's it. You guys got a big lobbying group, though.
Yeah.
Atlanta United fans. That's a decent sized
That could be
lobby,
it.
if we're being honest.
That
No,
could be
it couldn't get us captain. You know how many vote Parkers? I did. I decided. I signed
there
on.
was some fishy stuff going on with that.
I agree.
Yeah, I signed on to Twitter for the
They
first time in like a
putting us
month.
on goal of the
Well,
week.
here's the
Yeah.
question:
Vote
who are you
Parkers.
guys voting for? All Parky?
Yeah.
Of course.
Did
of course.
anyone split their vote accidentally? And
No,
throw
no,
a
no, no,
vote?
no,
Oh,
no.
no,
You
this is
tweeted
like-
one
are
thing.
you
Are
not
you making
on-
comments about
were you not
Georgians and
on
their spelling?
I can't imagine how many times the mute button was hit for the Atlanta United community during that like 24, 48-hour
The
period.
fact that you could vote Tata Martino best dressed in MLS, but you couldn't get your own captain on your own field.
Yeah.
How does that happen?
How does that
How's
happen?
that possible?
Yeah.
I don't get it. I just, it doesn't. I
Do
can't
you
fathom.
feel that Tata's reacted to that winning? Because I feel like
He's classed it up a little bit.
Yeah, and it's kind of uncomfortable.
I feel like it's kind of working too, right?
Ooh, it's
But
questionable.
is the sweater folded over your shoulders, classing it up? Maybe in like a 1980s coming of age movie, but
or Bayside High.
yeah,
I mean, he's
basic
Zach
concept,
Morris.
yeah,
I mean,
for
he's
sure,
just trying to channel his inner Zach Morris. I think Argentina just got saved by the bell a few years ago.
Yeah.
You
gotta love that.
Yeah, timeout. And that's always one of the things that we kind of harp on is that he still only makes substitutions 70+ minutes into the game. Last year, we needed it. I mean, we have the depth this year. If we had to do what we did last year, we probably could have helped, or probably could have helped with the squad rotation a little bit. But I don't know. It was tough. It was tough to watch because you could see the guys get especially the guys who run as hard as possible every game between Tito and Yamil Assad last year. You saw them towards the end stretch of that home.
You're going to see
that home
DC
stadium was just
United
bad.
do the same thing this season.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about that? Because
only DC United don't have the horses that you guys have.
Yeah,
that's true.
Well, they
That's
have
true.
Yamil Assad specifically, but that's it.
Yeah.
I think I don't know.
Wait,
I know you guys have talked about that before. So
who's broken face better, Martinez or Rooney?
I mean, Martinez.
Rooney's going to milk it way more than Martinez did. Martinez wore for
He didn't milk that at all. That's
No,
the
I
thing
mean the
about it,
mask.
is
The mask.
Oh, I was gonna say for
Yeah.
somebody who got his face broke by Axel Schubert, he was remarkably calm.
Yeah, I
Like,
see Rooney
very,
go.
very calm.
I see Rooney go in the Rip Hamilton route, where he's wearing it for at least 3.5
right,
years.
yeah.
Because he's the Petr Cech the headgear. What do you guys think? We're split on this. I think DC is going to make a playoff charge.
I think they'll define charge.
I think they'll be the 6th seed.
No.
No.
Oh, you
chance.
think they're in?
I think so.
I do not think they're in.
You don't think so?
I don't think they have one. I don't
Who's
think,
5 and 6 to you?
So I think Columbus sneaks in still, and I still
Columbus.
believe-
So Columbus is a lock at 4 to me.
Lock at 4. Yeah.
They don't feel like a lot.
So you
I
have
think top 3. I feel very confident.
So you have-
I don't think there's
It's
anyone.
Montreal, New England, and Philly.
Okay.
I don't see any of those 3 dropping. I mean,
Whoa,
they
whoa,
could
whoa,
they
whoa.
could drop. I'm
Did
saying
you just leave out my TFC squad?
you think they're going to have
Yeah.
If Josie is healthy and Victor's remotely healthy,
I don't know
that
how he
team-
stays healthy if he's rolling on the floor most of the
Wow. Wow. That's what
Yes.
we're talking about right now.
DC. I think DC makes the playoffs. I love their attack.
I don't think DC's in. I think
With
it
Rooney
goes-
on the bench.
I think it goes Columbus, TFC, Montreal.
You think TFC pulls it out this weekend
Yeah.
against Atlanta?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, whoa, sorry. I was answering before I heard the question.
Yeah, clearly.
Yeah. No, not at all.
You buzzed in too quick on Jeopardy.
But that's that 6th spot, and that's the beauty of the rest of the season, right?
Right.
There's a reason to believe for just about everybody right now, even if you're like.
Not
you gotta
Orlando,
convince
though.
yourself.
Unless you're
No,
Orlando.
Probably not Orlando.
Well, I mean,
no. It was
Seattle
12 out of 13. And
I'll buy DC more than Orlando.
I will
to lose
too. I will
12
too.
games in Major League. To not
I don't
accidentally
even know how
tie
you do that.
over 13 games.
They're
is
playing.
incredible.
They're playing golf score. They've got
Yeah.
it reversed down there.
Yeah, we
They
almost
are-
saw it. We almost saw a consecutive 12-game losing streak by Orlando, but they.
It's incredible what they've been able to do. It's impressive.
Well, they want to
It's
set.
excellence.
They want to set 2 records in the same season: their win record and their loss record. I think they're on pace to do both.
Have you guys gone down there for an away game?
Why would I do that?
Ooh, is that actually true
It's
though?
a nice stadium.
No, we just.
I
No, we
really
haven't.
do
We
want
haven't
to go
had the.
down there. I really do want to go down there.
Have
to
you
the
been to
stadium.
any
I
away games?
absolutely
Have you
do.
have any good away experiences so far?
Honestly, I've only been to the Nashville preseason game.
Okay.
Orlando.
That's exciting to see them.
What's-
hopefully next year.
What's
or
that
2 years.
rivalry?
Yeah,
like?
is
We've already
there any
seen
rivalry?
Orlando, Atlanta
So
kind of
I think it's going to be a friendly rivalry.
I think Nashville will be the more pleasant rivalry. It's at least closer than Orlando, and as a city,
They know their place probably, which is even if they win. Let's say they win a USL trophy, I don't think they're going to be touting it next year in MLS, especially when that franchise resides in Louisville. So
I'm not sure they're going to win one, given Cincinnati is probably going to walk away with this thing.
Yeah.
Fernando Adi plays a minute.
Yeah, no
They've already
kidding.
made the guarantee today. It
If
was
Fernando Adi plays in USL, he's going to score like 20 goals in the next 2 weeks.
You think so?
Yeah.
You know, I think he scores 10 goals in like 3 games and then goes missing the rest of the season.
Maybe, but it's still 10 goals in 3 weeks.
That's true. That's
For
true.
USL, you got like 5 goal games.
So you guys get the luxury of traveling a lot. What's some of your best cities to go to? I mean, obviously, you guys are here for
Cities
the
or soccer experiences?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yes.
Like you talk about.
Yes.
That's a different question. That's a different question.
lump them together at least. I mean, if you had to say city and
Aggregate.
soccer,
On aggregate,
yeah,
what city wins?
exactly?
Ooh, that's
Or
tough.
go top 3.
Okay.
I mean, honestly, I've been here twice in the last year, and both
Yeah.
times blew me away in a way that no other place has done. Whether it's the volume that gets stuffed into Mercedes-Benz, whether it's just kind of the way it's taken over. Because in so many MLS cities, we're still at that point where you want it to kind of get over the hump, where it's not just like, oh, these people, my buddy's a fan of X team. Like here, it feels like everybody you talk to, you're in a cab, and they're like, where are you going? I go pick up soccer. Atlanta United, and they want to talk about it.
Right.
everybody has a feel for it. Everybody feels a piece of it, and that's something I feel like still a lot of cities are trying to get to, where you have that mass buy-in and it's part of the fabric of your community. And to do that immediately has been incredible to me.
So just so you know, Weeby was saying Atlanta is one of his 3 cities.
Correct.
I don't know if you noticed that throughout that.
I mean, what Atlanta's done for me is it's made me interested in other cities to go watch the game.
Right.
You know, because I wouldn't travel down, and this is not to be tongue-in-cheek or anything like that. Like, I had no reason to travel down to Orlando just to be an Orlando City supporter.
You've been to Disney
know?
World.
Yeah. I mean, and what's my next closest option? DC United? I mean, again, it's such a big commitment and time, and I don't know how much you get out of that fan experience having to commute so far to actually experience the game.
Right.
So what Atlanta's done is it's at least given me an incentive to go to those other cities and be interested in the USL and what's happening with Nashville and Cincinnati and stuff like that.
Right.
So
So for me, Montreal's a great city to visit. When they're good, that place buzzes. We went to Rivalry Week last year, and I've been to a few Women's World Cup game there, a U20 World Cup game. So Montreal's a great city, especially in the summer, like during MLS.
I think shout out to Toronto and
I was about to say I've been to some unreal. I mean, I went to CCL final in Toronto, and it feels like a Super Bowl. Like it felt like a big event. The city gets around it. It's a fun city to be in, even in the winter. BMO hops, BMO bounces, and it was a great experience. So those two stick out for me. Atlanta sticks out for me. U.S. Open Cup final at Sporting KC. I mean, you know that stadium well.
I think Kansas City's an interesting case study as well, and they're not like Atlanta in the sense that it kind of dropped in and blew up. I mean, I remember covering games with the KC Wizards where we were at Community America Ballpark and like not minor league baseball, independent league baseball, and I'm interviewing Peter Vermees by a urinal. You know, where they've come from where they were when literally no one in that city knew anything about them. You saw Wizards gear and it was shocking.
Yeah.
And that person might have got it at the thrift store. You know what I mean? Like
You saw Wizards gear then as often as you see Wizards gear now.
Correct.
It was retro.
Actually,
while it was happening.
you see more Wizards gear now because they've managed to bring the brand back. And my brother's like, yo, give me that jersey they just released. How can I get my hands on this? But they're an instance of like what can happen when you have good ownership, when you have local ownership, committed ownership. And I think that's one thing that's made Atlanta special from the start is you could just see how much Arthur Blank cared. And the people he hired, how much they cared and how much they tried to plug themselves in as opposed to just starting something new entirely. And of course they had to do that, but without all of this, all of the people buying in and saying, this isn't your team, this is our team.
Right.
It wouldn't get to this point. And Kansas City's managed to do that. It's turned into a place where, like Atlanta, I want to do something cool. Somebody's going to tell you to go to a Sporting KC game.
So I will tell you, I've been to most MLS games, but the one I'm very excited about, and this, you guys might have a weird rivalry, I don't know, is Minnesota when they open up their stadium next year. I haven't been to a game at TCF, but that crowd looks fun. We've met a lot of
Depends
their
on when.
supporters.
If you're going the first few months of the season, I wouldn't pay to go up there. And
I would agree.
Hey, I went up there in February before they started, and it was a balmy 60 degrees. We played pickup with like ice on the sidelines.
Wow.
Their fans are really, really cool. I think
they seem great.
Yeah, they're just weird and
they're really cool. They're just weird.
Yeah, they've built their own
but
thing.
we're
and
weird. Like that's what we like.
It's nothing like what anybody else has. And they don't want it to be like that. And I know most supporters groups are like that, but they kind of revel in the like nobody likes us and we don't care. And also, what chant are we making up right now? It's from Alice in Wonderland. Like
I love it.
They're very passionate, and I can't wait till they have their own home.
They're a team that I feel like is poised for great things in the future. I mean, you see how well they've played once they finally signed a DP.
Yeah.
I mean, and even last year it seemed like they started to make a push towards the end of the season, and then
backline.
Yeah, Calvo.
Yeah, the curse of Dimidov continues to follow them around. Michael Boxall's trying to wash that thing off. He's scrubbing with like steel wool, and Alphonso Davies is just like, buddy, that's not going away anytime soon. Don't worry about it.
Where's the respect meter right now for Calvo?
The respect meter is
they got an all-star game. I don't know if that was purely on like apologies for what he was complaining about, but if he did, he talked his way into an all-star game.
Or some sort of they couldn't put LGP back there too.
Eric, do you need a fifth?
Wow.
You need one? I'm going.
They need one?
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Wow, straight off the mic.
I see. Yeah,
Devin's coming in. Devin's coming to sit back down.
I see the priority.
So where are you guys from originally?
Wichita, Kansas.
What's that?
Wichita, Kansas. That's the correct response to where you're from. I say Wichita, Kansas. You say, huh?
Yeah.
Where?
What about you guys?
And your brother runs Fresno Gooners, doesn't he?
No.
No?
He is a big Arsenal fan, though.
Yeah, we've talked a lot. I run the Atlanta Gooners here in Atlanta. So.
Whoa, Fresno
No,
Gooners.
there's no
That was
Fresno.
a
Although I now have family connections in Northern California, so
that was one
there we
pulled
go.
out of
There's
there.
a Weeby in Northern California.
Jordan Weeby.
I am shocked. How did that
Jordan
respectable
Weeby
Mennonite
runs the
brethren get his
Fresno
way
Fresno
out there?
Gooners.
Yeah, we should go to Fresno. And
He also
go
did
to-
a shirt exchange too. That's why I could have swore you guys were
Wow.
related because you
Oh, man,
actually are
yeah.
almost doppelgangers. It's
Yeah,
scary.
well,
I told you, Mennonite brethren, man. I don't know how he made it out there, but he's not leaving his genes behind.
I'm from New York City suburbs originally, so I used to take
Long Island.
Born in Belmore.
Port Washington.
Manhattan.
So people are yelling it, so I'll say it again, Port Washington. So I used to take the train into Port Authority and take the public bus over the tunnel to get to the Metro Stars games. And then I would buy a ticket in the quote unquote upper deck with 10 people there. And I'd walk up to the front row and I'd yell, Eddie Gavin, have my babies. I love you, Eddie Gavin. And he'd always turn around once.
So bigger Red Bulls icon. Thierry Henry.
I just want to throw out there, I'm not a Red Bull fan.
Or Bradley
It was just the
Ourselves.
closest game. So
Dax McCarty.
Thierry Henry.
We had this convo on the
Yeah.
pod. I just don't know
I'm
how
just
you go
kidding.
anywhere but BWP, right?
Yeah,
I
I
just don't know
agree.
how you go anywhere else. Like what he represents to them, like kind of in their ethos. It's like down in the core. This guy that came and nobody thought was going to be anything. Trials, comes on, sets records, takes you to your most successful period of your franchise, and stays, and is just so humble and wonderful to be around.
What is he? Was he League One at the time?
Yeah, I
Or
believe
was he
so,
Championship? He's League One, right?
League One.
I mean, he bounced around.
Yeah,
I think
Those Wright
was
Phillips boys,
Charlton
man.
his last
Yeah.
club?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I mean,
No, it is amazing what he's
Yeah.
been able to do. He's had a resurgence. I think a lot of that probably had to do with confidence levels at that point whenever he was over in England. And
But
then-
it's so odd because you look at other players who come from that level and they can't cut it in MLS. And it's
hey,
like,
man, Chris McCann is a fine left back right now.
I had a lot of
Yeah,
doubts
just
about
kidding.
Chris McCann. I'm not gonna lie
I'm
to you.
just
I
kidding.
thought Chris McCann had a little bit of Dimidoff to him with the salary number.
yeah, I was also.
But then it was like, oh, we need players at X number, like left back, holding mid, center back. Sometimes we go
Left
three
wing
back,
back.
and it's like, oh, okay, Chris McCann can do that, and you're like, oh, Chris McCann is doing that, and he's doing it at a
Yeah.
replacement to above replacement level now.
I also was talking some heavy Jay Simpson shade on that one, a
Yeah,
little bit of
I was-
Colorado
I-
Rapids
yeah,
shade as well.
yeah.
There's a lot of Champo players in there that are not MLS difference makers.
No,
like
for
Bradley
sure,
Wright Phillips.
yeah.
What we've learned is that Tam is not always going to hit.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. Yeah, but I mean, you're seeing a lot more hits now with that infusion that came in the
Yeah.
offseason.
Well, if you reach a point where like half your squad is TAM players, you'd hope that 50% of them are hits. Now you're looking at 5-6 starters on your team, which is what it should be.
Yeah, for sure.
I also just think if you look at Atlanta in particular, Paul McDonough is such an important piece of your management structure.
It's a big fear if we do lose him.
I mean, Boca, Eels, all of these guys,
uh-oh.
all of these guys are massive pieces. But what Paul does with the salary cap and what he does with kind of the signings that aren't at the very top, we're like, oh, hey, kid Darren, go. Everybody knows Miguel Miron is a stud. Go get that guy.
Right.
Where he builds kind of the top to bottom depth that you guys were talking about.
Oh, I'm Devin.
I mean, to do that the way he has, both with Tam, but with guys like, I mean,
And then to find a Remedi
yeah,
at Banfield.
yeah.
Do we have any idea what the transfer fee was on that?
No, I haven't heard anything.
We won't know until the end of the year or next year.
We probably might not.
I can't
know
remember
the
when
transfer
disclosure
fee.
Yeah,
was.
I feel like
Oh, that's
I feel
true.
like I'm
Salary.
making this up, but I feel like it was like I heard it was like in the 2 million range.
It's going to be
That sounds right. It was
Yeah.
something like 2 million plus some kind of agreement with the club to help Bonfield. I'm not sure
for
exactly
selling
the
rights or
details.
future percentages or anything like that.
Probably more like first right of refusal on other players
Okay.
coming out. That kind of relationship.
So
with the club.
you still think DC's making the playoffs?
I think it's possible. I think it's very possible.
I'm going to ride this horse into the sunset.
I think they need a defender. I think they need an outside back.
Yeah,
Bobby Boswell
they
to come
keep-
back and
they
save
keep
the club.
talking about that. They keep talking about. A lot of teams keep talking about what the needs they have.
Who is the biggest need in the league right now?
I mean, that depends on what you define as need. Like, is it a team that needs to take that next step, like a Sporting KC in the number 9? Like, I look at their core, and they don't have 5 more years to mess around. They don't have 2 more transfer windows to mess around and not get that player. So I think Sporting Kansas City is one based on the fact that this fan base is not happy about the playoff exit, is not happy about the summer swoons. Like, I talked about Sporting Kansas City. It's a cool thing now. You go to the stadium. But what comes with being cool, what comes with fandom is pressure.
Expectation.
Expectations. And
we
and
lived
they're-
through it here.
they're feeling that pretty hard right now. That's a big one. I'm trying to think of other holes off the top of my head right now.
What do you think about
Montreal at the
Dallas?
number 9.
Well, Montreal, Jimmy Briand, what a
Yep.
situation that was.
Yep.
I think Dallas is fine, man. They went.
No,
out and
that's
got-
what I was going to say. Getting
Now
Baji,
I
I
think
think
they're
was
good.
that was.
Yeah,
I think that was a
Aranguiz
key
is
for them.
under the
That's
radar.
the one I like.
And they get 6 months to let him just kind of chill and,
Yep.
and come in at his own pace because whatever they're doing now is working. Be a little bit more direct.
Do you
Make
see
some
LAFC
change up
making a
next
move?
year. They got Horta. They've already spent the DP bucks.
How did that work out?
What
so
about
far?
losing K now, though?
Yeah.
I'm so sad about that.
Yeah.
We talked to him in LA for ETL, and he's one of those guys that just when you have an interaction with him, you're like, God, I want you to succeed, man. Like,
Right.
I just want to see you do cool stuff. And he was doing it.
Mm-hmm.
He had taken such a huge step from Louisville, and I don't know. Did you see his tweet today? He was like, I
Yeah.
hope I'm an all-star one day. It broke my heart.
I know.
It
I
broke
know.
my heart for him.
I feel like everybody was wrong on him because I didn't think he could play the 6. I didn't think that would work at all, but it did.
When we were there, I watched the whole training, and Bob spent probably 10 minutes pulling him aside and just walking him through it. And I think he knew that this was a guy that was, A, going to play a big role, but B, had to be really, really locked down for them because they don't really have a 6.
No.
Like, they've got a bunch of guys who can play, and they got a bunch of guys who are incredibly talented in center midfielder, but do they have the guy who can cover that ground that he did? Be the stopper, have the discipline tactically? We'll see. Horta could be that guy. He could also play back passes into his own half.
Yeah.
Man.
He's got that
maybe.
momentary minute.
I like Atuesta. A lot
I do
of people
too.
don't, but I think he's pretty good.
I don't know if he's a 6.
Atuesta.
Atuesta, yeah. I'm trying to think of holes right now. I feel like I'd spend all day talking about them,
Philly,
and now I can't.
number 9. What did they just give it to Burke?
I don't count that as a hole because I don't think they're going to go.
What is
Saturday.
wrong with Sapong this year? I don't.
He's never been. Last year was an outlier for him as a finisher. He's always been an incredibly unselfish player who, like, you put him out there, you know what you get. It was always that you were going to get a guy that you were very uncertain about in front of goal. And he's back to that now. And last year was confidence. Last year was give him the keys and let him roam. Sometimes hops go your way. It's just not there for him right now. And David Accam might be. You talk about trades that didn't work out.
Oh,
Justin
man.
Miriam, your boys in Orlando are chomping on that one pretty hard right now. But David Accam
And apparently
is in the
asking
same
for a
boat.
refund as well.
Okay. Chicago Fire. There's the holes because they made a big step last year. Bastian Schweinsteiger says he wants to be back another year, but they haven't done anything in the 2 windows. They got all that allocation for Accam, and what have they done? They go spend $400K on Raheem Edwards. I like Raheem Edwards. I was all over that hype train last year from day one, but Raheem Edwards is not going to turn that into a playoff team.
No.
You need a center back.
Yeah.
You need a goal scoring something.
Yeah.
Outside of Nikolic.
I think you need a
Katai's been
goalkeeper
great,
too.
but yeah, that would.
Katai has been good for Chicago.
That's a good call.
After
They're
Sean
gonna lose
Johnson, they
Katai,
have
though,
not
aren't they? Or
replaced
they lock
Sean
Katai
Johnson.
They locked him in. They bought him.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
they
That's
almost
a
had
good
to.
deal.
They almost had to.
Yeah, they did with the
Their
run he
fans,
was on.
With the way that the things are going with their fans right now,
Oh man,
it would not have been good had they not made that happen.
Yeah, that's been an interesting story.
Number
seeing
9
them.
for RSL. A lot of number 9s. A lot
Yeah,
of teams.
wow.
I mean, that's the nature of the game, right?
That's it.
That's where you guys ought to sit back and really appreciate the situation that you're in and however long you're in it, because Joseph Martinez is pretty clear.
Still need defenders.
Don't always come around and don't
See,
ever
I
defenders.
so disagree with this.
What, that Atlanta
Atlanta's
needs
back
defenders?
line
No, I think we're fine.
Bodies.
is so underrated.
In what position?
I would love a body to come in at left back.
I think we need more help at right back than we do at left back.
I don't think you need either one because Escobar is going to continue to improve, and you have George Bello coming. You're not going to go get a left back on the long term because Bello is going to be the guy.
Yes,
I'll give you that.
And you've got to leave that spot open for him.
You guys are fortunate in the sense that you can look around your team and look at about 5 or 6 young players and have realistic high expectations for them.
Yeah, we have a couple
Absolutely.
of them playing in the
That's
homegrown
not
game
universal. You know, that's
No.
not universal. Now, the flip side is, okay, prove that you not only develop them, but play them and advance their careers. And that's kind of been the beef with, the FC Dallases and these other teams that'll say, oh, we have 30 homegrown signings. It's like, well, in product.
That's why we have Matty Doyle every week on Twitter telling us to play Andrew Carlton, play Chris Goslin, play Miles Robinson.
Talk to Carlton today. The kid has some swag.
Yeah, he does.
Yes.
The kid has he had the AJC chain that he was rocking.
Yeah.
He has the long hair that he says he's
Atlanta Journal
inspired
Constitution?
By I don't know. I should have asked him.
He's just a big Doug. He's a big Doug Robertson
Middle
fan.
name's Jay. Yes, he is a big Doug Robertson fan.
And you just mentioned, homegrowns that didn't necessarily work out. Now, what are your thoughts on the Kellen Acosta move from Dallas?
Oh, good one.
I'm happy for Kellen in that he gets to play, and I'm happy for us that we get to see him play on a regular basis. It's unfortunate that the momentum was lost so quickly, and that's a lesson for everyone: players, administrators, GMs, coaches, agents. You can be here on one moment, and an injury, a lack
Form
of
is temporary.
some signings, somebody coming through and pushing. It can change your career, and Kellen was the guy that I think we all thought would be talking about $5 million to Europe in this window, in the last window, and Now it kind of looks like he might be MLS for the long term. Colorado Rapids want to re-sign him. They want to build their team around him, and I understand why they would want to do that. It's just unfortunate that it went the way he did. I mean, he has a good Gold Cup. Maybe he gets sold then.
Yeah, maybe I was about to say he's always a couple of game run away
It's just
from
a lesson
being.
in how fleeting it is. I still think Kellen Acosta has all the talent in the world. But you start hitting 22, you start hitting 23.
What is it? Is he 23,
He just turned 23?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
23 like 2 days
It's
after
not
he
too
was
late to
traded.
turn it around, man.
It's not.
But the clock is ticking.
No,
when your
for
stated
sure.
goals are Europe, it starts to be more challenging, let's say, and it starts to have less of a payoff potential for the team that currently owns you. So you have an Alphonso Davies.
That's what was my next
13
question.
to 12, $22 million. Okay, that payoff is such that we have to make the move. But if a team comes in 1.5, $2 million for Kellen Acosta, and you're the Colorado Rapids, you say, we can't replace this guy. He's now the face of our franchise. Everything was built around him. We actually have no pressure to do that. We have more pressure to win because we don't win.
Right.
And we're dire to watch right now.
Does Davies succeed at Bayern? Does he get game time at
Davies
Bayern?
succeeds in Europe. I don't have enough information, and we haven't seen it yet to say he succeeds at Bayern.
Because he's going to be sitting behind Coman. He's going to be sitting behind Ribery. He's going to be sitting behind Robben.
But if you look at the numbers played last year for Bayern, it's not young players.
I'm
Coman
worried.
can't get on the field.
He's not
worried
gonna get
that
on
it
the field
turns
for
into
2
like
years.
Josie at Villarreal,
Yeah.
where he goes and it just keeps getting loaned out and nothing
To
happens.
Frankfurt or Schalke.
God, if we
or
see
something like that.
Alphonso Davies playing at Hull City, I'm probably going to throw up in my mouth.
I hope he plays it. Hopefully, hell, let's get him at Villarreal.
Yeah,
sounds like
that'd be a good one. Yeah, let's switch that.
Let's
That'd
go
work.
Let's go mid.
Because you're talking about guys that Bayern already has, but you got to think about all the German guys that they're just going to buy. Every winger that comes up.
Absolutely.
It's just gonna,
Goretzka or anybody that's coming
Julian
through.
Brandt's going to end up there,
Yep.
right? At some point.
Timo Werner.
But how excited do you think Atlanta United's front office was when that Davies deal goes down? Because
for sure.
now the market
For an
an MLS
Almiron.
player going out is set. What does Miguel bring?
Yeah, it's a question that I think it's going to be answered in a way that's going to be really interesting because Arthur Blank and Darren Eales keep saying we don't need to sell.
That's true.
And
We have the money.
This market is so interesting because there's so many teams overseas or in South America that it's not we can or can't sell. It's we have to sell this player.
Right.
If we have the opportunity to get this amount of money for this player, we got to do it because otherwise we're not going to meet our bills. We're going to be bankrupt. Our players are going to be knocking on the door saying, "Where's our paychecks?" And in MLS, you just don't have that same pressure.
Right.
These owners don't need to sell. They don't have to. It's like, okay, $13 million is great, but like Arthur Blank.
What's $13 million to Arthur
it's
Blank?
like, actually, I'd much rather have an MLS Cup this year. And if you guys win an MLS Cup this year, that changes everything.
Yeah.
Like, that's a marker for the franchise, for the city, for what they're trying to build long term. And, Miguel is a part of that, but his time will end. At some
I think
point.
Joseph is more in that situation where you might not sell him because Blank might give him a bigger contract and pay him to stay. And I don't think he wants to go.
And
He's
Joseph had the
been-
bad experience in
He
Turin.
had a bad experience.
You know,
He's happy here.
Yeah.
Miguel
He's a
always
king
said he
here.
wanted to go.
And Miguel came out today and said that his focus was 2019
that
in
was
Europe.
always the ideal. So
Well, I mean, with the ownership the way we have it, I mean, it really ends up being more about the wishes of the players and the wishes of the coaches, right? I mean, at that point, Miguel, like you said, Weeby, if we win Cup, then it's just let him go.
Well,
I think Miguel's gone next year.
No, I think so
I
too.
don't think
And
there's any
Yamil
way
Assad
he's
is going to
here
replace him.
regardless.
It's a positive thing. It's a good thing to
that's
have
the
the,
right
no, it's a
the
good
record transfer fee and the record attendance and record everything.
And when you go down to South America next time to spend that money, you look a guy in the face and you say, yeah, you're going to come. You're going to play in front of 70K.
For 2
You're
years.
going to have a chance to win championships. And then when the timing is right, believe me, we'll move you.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if you want to stay, we'll pay you.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the flip side. Is that's what Arthur's always done on the NFL side.
But
he's drafted guys they've developed, and he's rewarded them. I mean, he has paid his guys, and he wants to keep his guys.
Now,
so Joseph could stay for a long time.
Now is that I guess that's the other part of the equation is I don't see Miguel Almiron leaving for a West Ham or an Aston Villa.
West Ham was the launching pad for Mascherano, was the launching pad for Tevez.
I'll give
was-
you that, but I would
Sure.
see him better at a Monaco or at a Serie A.
No, I agree with
Serie A is
I-
where I'd love to see Miguel Almiron.
Yeah,
I just
at a
don't know if the
slower
money's
league.
going to be right.
I would like to see him in La Liga. I think he would be.
Dollars.
I think he'd be
Yeah.
suited well for. No, I agree with you that that EPL is not the
He'll
place
get
for him
killed
to
at
play.
Newcastle, and they'll put him on the right wing, and he'll get clattered by the Shaw crosses and the people that don't like the way that the
Phil
South
Jones is
Americans
gonna
play.
come in.
Yeah.
I don't think
come in
you'd
on
see
him.
the best of him there. I think if he goes to somewhere like Italy or Spain and plays as an 8, he'll be fine.
Yeah.
Or even Germany. I think he would do well at some German clubs.
Ah,
I could see him at a Wolfsburg, and they've got money.
Yeah, actually, that's not a bad call.
I mean, look, find the right fit, Miguel. Just find the right fit
Yeah.
where you feel comfortable, where they believe in you, where they want to make you a big part of their project, because that's really the challenge. You just can't go somewhere where you're one in a million.
You can pull a Dembele and go to Barcelona and be miserable.
You need to have, especially when that first move comes. Not to say there'll be another one, and that's the whole point. Like, maybe there's not another one.
He's at that age where there probably isn't. This is his big move in his career. You know, Davies can go young, and if it doesn't work, he might go somewhere else. This is Miguel's big move.
I mean, I always think about it in terms of, myself or other people, like, it's the same deal. Like, when you're looking for a job, you need a boss that you like and believes in you. You need the right financial package. That doesn't always mean that it's the most money.
Exactly.
And you need the best opportunity for improvement. And that doesn't always come with the biggest move. And so that then comes down to judgment. And that comes down to Atlanta United being willing to work with his representation to say, okay, well, this may not be the biggest offer that we have, but it benefits us to see you succeed on that next step.
Exactly.
And we care about you. So we hope you succeed. And oh, by the way, it's still going to be a bunch of money.
Double what we paid.
Yeah, it's still going to be a
Well,
whole
thank God
lot of
for
money.
EPL TV money at that point.
Thank
right?
you.
His
The broadcast
agent-
dollars, man.
His agent has been talking about England a lot in the media.
No, I
down
mean,
there,
it's the pinnacle of competitive major leagues in Europe.
And there's a lot of chatter that West Ham is very, very interested.
Tell me another league that has 4 or 5 teams that can vie for a title.
Germany. Just kidding.
Germany,
No,
yeah.
that's all Bayern Munich.
Yeah, I mean it's the place to go and play to try and test yourself.
Yeah, I think it's the place to go to where there's enough teams that are in that not top level, because I don't know if Miguel goes there and plays, but that next tier.
Yeah.
Like a Newcastle. I mean, it might not work from a soccer perspective, but would he go there and play?
Oh yeah, he would go there and play,
Yeah,
but
and if
I'm
he's
just saying it wouldn't be a
used correctly.
fit. It wouldn't. But keep in mind, he'd be playing with Rafa.
Mike Ashley penny pinches more than
to the coach.
What's his name at Columbus?
The only reason he would go to Newcastle would be to play with Rafa Benitez.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a pretty good.
But I wouldn't see him
pitch.
going to Stoke. Or I wouldn't see him going to
No,
West
no.
Brom. Or,
No.
You know, he's not going to go play for Tony Pulis.
No.
After playing for Tata Martino.
I don't know, the Midlands are very nice this time of year.
But not in December.
No, just
Kevin, you want to tag in? I think we're gonna probably start wrapping. Yeah, I think we're gonna start wrapping up. Thank you for
Appreciate
having
it,
us,
guys.
Andrew.
Hey, thank you for doing this, guys. I mean, we've had a blast tonight. This is basically everything that I want from a night at any MLS event. Playing soccer, this feels incredible.
The breeze is just now started at the right
Helping
time.
out soccer in the streets is a cherry on top, of course, but you guys are fortunate to have this organization, this field. Like, I wish we had this in New York. I wish we had futsal courts on every other block. I would be there every single day.
I know NYC's trying.
I wouldn't be
They're trying
surprised
to do
to see
some
it start
things in the
happening.
community.
Yeah.
NYC's got to put a stadium up before they start doing that.
Yeah, there is that.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, we got a giveaway here. Oy.
All right, AJ, you want to hop on for?
Yeah, take me off here. I'm going to go try to play. Get one more game in.
Andrew.
Thanks, Andrew.
Thanks a ton,
Thank
man.
you so much.
For you guys that have tuned in for the entirety of this,
Y'all are crazy.
2 hours. Yeah, you guys are nuts. You guys need to go watch Netflix or
Let's
something.
see. Keith has given up on DC making the playoffs.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm the only one that's.
I'm still with you. I'm still
telling
on
you,
that.
man. Sit Rooney. Play him as I know he's expensive. Play him as a super sub because Maddox is much better up there than he is with that starting five.
I disagree
or
with that.
Attacking five.
I like that front four. I think Russell Knaus getting healthy is the secret move for DC. If you can play him as the 6, you have a little more defensive stability. As good as Durkin has been, I think Knaus makes it work with the 4-1-4-1.
Yeah. We'll see.
so thanks to you guys for coming on. Thanks to everybody. Eric, I want to make sure you get in here. Joe, make sure you guys get in here and make plugs towards the end here too.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing, like for those of you watching, for people who are here, maybe from out of town, like we're really lucky. I think all of us who are here, like we know we're really lucky to have like Dirty South Soccer, who's been doing this for a long time.
Absolutely.
Mouths of the South, who were the first podcast in Atlanta, started doing it. They're on radio now. They've blown up. You guys on Before Dark, killing
Potty
it.
Mouths.
Lots of stuff. ATL UTD Fan TV with all kinds of content. You know, we do daily with soccer down here. 92.9 has been real supportive. Now 680 and Sports Radio X and everything.
5-Stripe Vinyl coming in. I mean, everybody's got their
There's
own
so
thing, man.
much.
It's awesome.
And what's cool is it all has its own flavor, and everybody's kind of found their own thing. Like,
But I love that we can all come together too for something
Yes.
like this or the Champions League stuff. you guys listening, watching, we need a name. We need like a Thundercats or Avengers, some sort of
Voltron.
like
Voltron.
coalition name for the Atlanta United content
Yes.
community that we can all come together as a call to arms. So we're looking to you guys to supply it.
So that's what we need. For any of you guys watching who see this later, tweet it at one of us or all of us and let us know what we're going to be called, because we'll be doing this more. Soccer in the Streets does a number of events throughout the year. The black tie soccer game is the next big one.
We'll be out there, yeah.
And that would be one where actually like a bunch of people can jump in and play. Yeah. You dress in silly black tie attire and you raise money for the organization.
I've already got a plan. I mean, this coalition, we're going to get on their fall league out here, and we're expecting you and Conti to come and do commentary.
We'll do commentary.
Match.
Or one of us will manage or something, and we'll figure that out.
I'm calling Conti out right now. I don't know why you're not.
You need Mike Conti goal calls.
Yeah, where you at?
So see, the thing that scares me about Mike Conti goal calls here, like there's no booth, because I'm afraid he's going to knock me out of it one of these days.
Yeah.
He slapped me on the back on some of them, that I'm like, man, he's going to hurt me.
So let's go around, everybody. Make sure you get your plugs in.
Eric, come grab my mic for
out.
a second. Well, we'll start with Eric.
I just want to say the officiating today was subpar. VAR was crap. And other than that, this is a fantastic turnout, fantastic outing here. We definitely got to do this again. Definitely got to do this again. Miles of the South podcast at MOTS Podcast. Find me at Eric G. Quintana. And on the radio, 680. Oh, the Sports X. 12:30 a.m. 106.3 FM, the Sports X. This week is going to be Thursday, 7 to 8 because of the All-Star game. Normally it's going to be Wednesday, 7 to 8 every week.
And online too?
On the app. On the Sports X app.
Okay.
Yeah, just speaking for Dirty South Soccer here, just wanted to, again, thank all these guys for helping put this together, because we kind of just showed up. I basically begged to get on the email list, and they let us play.
I do that on my own show.
Yeah, I actually, that's like my strongest skill, is like finding myself.
I'll tell you, my
the
back
email
hurts
list.
every week.
So, anyways, just thanks for coming to our site, reading. Just really appreciate everybody, all the engagement. Leave your comments. We love to read them. Even though we have to lock the comments sometimes. But anyways, you can read us at Dirty South Soccer, or at Dirty South Sock on Twitter, and then dirtysouthsoccer.com. Keep reading. Thanks.
And you do podcasts.
Oh yeah. Check out Five Stripe.
Whatever you call it.
I forget. It's an HAD.
Highly
distributed audio discussion.
There
you
we
can find
go.
it on wherever you get your podcasts, because that's what we have to release them as, so that you guys can listen to them. So that's called Five Stripe Final. Check that out. Thanks everybody.
Thanks, Joe.
Jason, what about you, man?
Man.
A better question is, where can't they find
Yeah.
Jason?
Lots of stuff. Soccer Down Here every day, blogtalkradio.com/soccer down here. 9 to 11 live, goes out as a podcast after that. 92.9 The Game, all the Atlanta United broadcasts. We do stoppage time Wednesdays, usually 1 to 2. This week it's 12 to 1 because of the All-Star game. We have a 2-hour pregame for the All-Star game, which is insanity. Awesome. But it's actually going to be pretty cool. We've got Darren Eels jumping on with us. We'll have a roundtable of some national media talking MLS.
That'll be great.
We'll have a local roundtable. We will hopefully have Andrew Carlton and Lagos Kunga live in the booth with us.
Kunga Squad.
Yes.
Kunga Squad.
That will be pretty sweet.
Tell them we said hey.
I will. And we've started some new stuff at 92.9. We do it this week in MLS podcast now. It's usually Mondays. It'll be Thursday this week because of the craziness. And Jarrett and I do our March to Match Day preview. It's about 20 minutes just on the next match.
Awesome. And if you have any other time for other content.
You do have another thing, don't you? Soccer over there?
Oh, yeah. Well, I just produced that one. I don't sometimes I talk and I just press buttons. I get to do what John does on our usual show and do all the drops. I get to do that when Nick's doing soccer over there. And I get to learn more about soccer over there because I'm doing all the other stuff about soccer here that I don't get to follow over there as much.
Nice.
Indeed.
AJ. AJ, thank you. First of all, before your sign off, thank you for letting us use the YouTube channel.
Thank you guys for setting it up.
Streaming
Thank you guys
everything
for your
out.
equipment. Yeah,
Appreciate
all that, man. Yeah, absolutely. To plug ourselves. I mean, you're on the channel already, so if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. But you can find us
Hit
on
the bell notification icon because YouTube does not like people.
Exactly. They make it difficult for everybody for no reason at all. But hey, no, we love YouTube. So Instagram, you can find us on ATL UTD Fan TV. You can find us on Facebook, ATL UTD Fan TV, and on Twitter at Atlanta United Fan TV. And scratch that, the other way around. IG, Twitter, you got it. But guys, thank you guys so much for sending.
We need John Nelson to come over here
appreciate
too.
yeah, John Nelson needs to come
Yeah,
over.
absolutely.
For this event, everybody that came out,
Yo.
everybody that played, really big shout out.
All right, so why am I here?
Where can the people
plug
find
yourself.
You? Plug it.
Oh,
Plug yourself. I think I plugged everything else.
okay.
Plug it up.
At OSG Nelson on Twitter, John Freeman Nelson on Facebook, because there are all 316 John Nelsons out there because Stone Cold said so. And also Cute Sports Guy on Instagram, because when the boss says that's what you are, that's what your handle is.
Nice. Unfortunately, we did not make it home before dark tonight, guys. But
That's true.
Home after dark.
It was a great night nonetheless. Thanks to Continental Tire for sponsoring. Thanks to Soccer in the Streets for hosting.
Extra Time Radio, MLS. Thank you guys, Weeby and Goss and Warshaw. Thank you guys for coming over and sitting down with us.
Yeah, thanks to Continental Tire for making such a large donation to Soccer in the Streets too.
Absolutely.
That is ridiculous. Like being on I worked for Soccer in the Streets for 10 years, and I know what that type of donation can do. That's like a semester at school. That's a program for 20, 30 kids for 6
awesome.
months.
Right.
I mean, that's a massive donation.
So thank you guys. You can find Home Before Dark and all the familiar faces and places. Home Before Dark, that's before spelled B and the number 4. Tim, where can they find you at?
You can find me at Tim Herb.
Find me as well at The Architect. That's at _ARC, number 1 TECT. All this will be up on iTunes, YouTube, Podomatic, SoundCloud, everything.
This isn't going up on Podomatic. What are you talking about?
Oh, yeah, whatever.
This is just
That's all it
reflex
takes.
from like
Muscle
5 years
memory.
ago.
Muscle
Yeah.
memory, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for checking us out. We love the hell out of you. See you next time. As
Thank you
always,
guys so much.
be home before dark. Mucha plata, y'all.
Yeah. All the sign-ups.